Boys, welcome back to another episode.
Hey,
How are we?
what's going on?
Very tired, mate. 24 hours of racing got me.
You stayed up the full 24 hours?
Nah, definitely not.
Now he actually
Definitely
stayed
not.
up for 22 and missed the last two.
It's always a way, but
I'll give you my timeline of events, okay? So I finished work, got home. Pre-race, 12 o'clock, midnight, race started. Watched it till 2:30, okay? Fell asleep. I'm like, I have to go to sleep. Woke up at 4:30, like bad indigestion. Like I was nearly vomited. I don't know, it must be the shit I was eating that night. Anyway, I'm like, oh fuck it, I'll stay up and watch. So I watched from 4:30 to 5:30, fell back asleep, woke up at 8:30, watched it till like midday, and then the safety car came out. And then 4.5 hours of safety car. People came over for dinner. I was watching it while eating dinner. And then 10 o'clock, they left. I fell asleep. Oh my God. Woke up at 3 a.m. going, what the, where am I? You know that feeling? So, but
That's a good effort, though.
yeah, we'll get into the results and everything shortly. But yeah, like it's just a crazy race, isn't that Le Mans 24 hours? So
Oh, yeah.
enjoyable.
Yeah.
So enjoyable. Just before we get into all that, boys, just want to talk us as we do every week. We're proudly sponsored by MJ Trading Cards. They do an awesome job for us, and we've got a few fans who actually come on board, and they're starting to get buying some packs and enjoying the community. So we have an offer for listeners. Use code MSR15 for 15% off your first order. Okay, so MJ Trading Cards does an average of about 10 to 15 breaks a day in NFL, NBA. So, yeah, get on board. Simple as that.
Love it.
I know a couple of your mates jumped on board, James, which is awesome. So,
they're right into it now.
super exciting for us to go into the future. So, what did you guys do yesterday? Bit of Superbikes?
yeah, a lot of Superbikes.
Superbikes,
Played
Le Mans,
a bit of golf actually. With,
pod
one of the
favorite.
owners of pod favorite, one of the owners of the lovely Benzina stables, Mr. Lukey Luke.
Oh, very good. How'd you go?
Not bad considering. I've haven't played in a while, but I'll take it.
Yeah,
I shot
very
up just over 100. So
Okay.
for me, that's not too bad.
That's very
For
good,
a
mate.
part-timer, a casual enthusiast.
Part time is probably a stretch, to be honest. Casual at best. So all 4 seasons in one day.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say yesterday, how'd the hammy hold up going through playing golf?
Nah, not good.
Yeah.
Hammy was no good.
Massage
We got-
halfway through?
We got the cart, thankfully.
Joyce-
So
Oh, he's fine. He had the car. He'd be
we had
fine.
the cart.
As if you wouldn't use the cart, but seriously.
Almost flipped it in the first hole.
The car.
Yeah, going downhill. So we played at Ivanhoe and
I thought you just leant back.
yeah, oh, come on, Jim. It's a bit stiff. But yeah, fair enough. I guess the way
that was too easy. That was too easy.
No, I'll be nice back. Yeah, suspension couldn't hold it. But yeah, Ivanhoe first hole's
Yeah.
quite steep downhill, and I trusted Luke with my life in that golf cart, and it's safe to say I'll be driving the golf carts from now on. But no, it was a good day had by all. We did manage to run over one of our playing partners though.
Nice.
Bro, what the hell?
It was his fault he didn't get out of the way.
He was obviously not Italian then.
No. Big Cam.
Oh, big
He's
Cam.
about 6'4" or 6'5". And we're mucking around driving at him, swerving.
Oh,
and he's
yeah.
like sort of dummying. And then we didn't slow down and he didn't jump out of the way. So straight to the front of the car.
Oh, there you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Cart's fine though. Any Ivanhoe members listening?
Yeah, might just beat that golf course out.
Oh goodness.
Hey, boys, we're doing a Patreon episode.
We are. Yes. Super excited.
Start of July, first week of July, we're going to be doing our first episode of Patreon. It's going to be basically a no holds barred
Uncut.
episode. It's going to be uncut, so there's not going to be. Cody's already shaking his head right now, just thinking, "Oh my god!"
If you think it's uncut now, you wait for this Patreon episode.
It's going to be real loose. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. We'll put it out on the socials.
Yeah.
We're getting it all set up now. So it'll be first week of July by the looks of it. We're going to be dressing up in our alter egos.
Yes.
Which is going to be very funny. And there's going to be a few there's going to be a few beers had, and if you're looking for our real views on, let's just say life. Listen to this one because it's going to be bad. Plus, we're going to do our half-yearly take on MotoGP, especially. So, on
And
our
F1.
real thoughts on people like Maverick Vinales and Takaki Nakagami and those types of riders. So they're going to fucking cop it.
Unhinged, if you will.
So is that going to be around the 6th or 7th of July?
Yeah,
5th, 6th or 7th?
we might be released a little bit after that because I'm just still getting through Patreon and how to upload and do all that stuff. So.
Yeah, we're going to be in a little bit of change scenery-wise in the next few weeks as well. We're going to move into a little different spot here at Benzina, so we might be at our new spot by the time 4 or 5 weeks comes about.
Yeah, we actually might be. So
we'll see.
It's going to be fun. So look out for that one. It's going to be hilarious.
24 Hours Le Mans.
Yeah, good Ferrari again, huh?
I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. They've come back and won the first 2 years. I mean, it's
really
pretty
cool.
amazing.
It's really cool.
They've got to have a meeting at Maranello and get the Formula One team and the WEC team together and just say, what are you doing right? What are you doing wrong? Because they're doing a lot of things right. So results, I'm going to go the top 3, guys. So Ferrari, AF Corsa.
Do all 50?
Well, we do sometimes overlook the LMP3 class, which is more the sports cars. But yeah, we're not going down that far. So Ferrari, AF Corsa, team number 50. 51 won last year, so they've won each. So Antonio Fiocco, Miguel Molina, and Nicholas Nielsen, congratulations, 24 Hour Le Mans winners. Coming up second, Toyota Gazoo Racing, Kamui Kobayashi, Jose Maria Lopez, and Nick De Vries, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Ex-Formula One,
Yep.
bit of a shocker, to be honest. His first 6 races and then got canned. And then AF Corsa Ferrari 51 team, James Collado, Antonio Giovinazzi, ex-Formula 1 driver, and Alessandro Biqueri. They came in third. So super interesting. Guys, the other thing is, which is insane, the top 9 cars on the lead lap. Okay?
Yeah.
Closest Le Mans finish in 19 years.
That's amazing.
Previous was 1995. Which car was it, James?
In 1995 that won?
Yep.
The rotary Mazda.
No, the McLaren F1.
It was a good guess.
Rotary Mazda was 89 and then never finished the race, unfortunately.
Oh, that sounds right for a rotary, actually.
So, it does. So 14 seconds to second place, and it started incredible. So obviously the Porsche, the number 6 Porsche had pole, and the 2 Cadillacs behind it.
Yeah.
That driver for Porsche, Kevin Estre, just that hyperpole lap was just amazing. He just flung it around the corners. It was like the last lap, put it on pole. He was right up there at the start. So him and the Ferraris were going at it the first probably half an hour to the race. Rain started coming down. They put wets on. The Ferrari stayed on dries and it ended up drying up. So and then he went back in the field, and it sort of took a little bit of sting out of the tail on that point. And then T-Shows fell asleep after that.
With the digestion problems.
I thought you'd like that.
Bit of Archibald.
What were you eating, actually? I want to know.
Well, my tradition for Le Mans 24 Hours sushi. I have to get sushi. God. Okay, so and I got to the sushi place a little bit late. Shouldn't have got the raw salmon because I could probably been sitting there since lunch.
Yeah,
and it was already
in there.
It was already warm. Oh my God. So I'm like, anyway, just in Curdy fashion, just got those sushi nigiris down.
Did you have some ice cream to cleanse the palate?
I was going to say
Did I have ice cream? No, I had chocolate. A bit of chocolate. Too much chocolate by the bloody.
So sushi and chocolate halfway through. Oh, that would have got T-Shav's guts going.
And I had Indian for dinner that night.
You didn't eat up your hands like last time, did you? All natural.
Yeah, my hands were caramel after that, the buttered chicken. That was. But yeah, I mean, it's just an amazing time for sports car racing. That WEC, mate, 23 hypercars in that field. I mean,
it's in its glory years.
I mean, I remember watching that when we were younger, and like two Toyotas and maybe 2 Porsches, and Audi and Peugeot had their battle back sort of 10, 15 years ago, which was amazing. But
it was just Audis at one point as well, I think.
Since they've changed this rule where its costs have come down, and so it's more, it's
like independent teams can race in it.
Independent teams. I mean, there's a lot of factory teams in there, but it's just more affordable. And you got Ferrari, you got Toyota, you got Porsche, Cadillac. I mean, Lamborghini, Peugeot. There's a new manufacturer, Assolto Franceschini. It's a new Italian manufacturer.
Okay.
They're actually producing road cars, but they were in there as well. Like, I mean, just amazing. So
for someone like that new manufacturer, it'd be good because it would be for their cars. You'd get so much data out of it and how to then develop a car.
That's a great point, and that's where it always came from. Car racing developed parts for road cars, and you can see that with the Kerr system in Ferraris with their hybrid engines, and same with this as well. I mean, the power they produce out of I think the Ferrari's got a 3-litre 3-liter turbo V6, and they get 700 horsepower out of this engine. So, yeah, it's super exciting. And a year ahead, we're going to have the Aston Martin Valkyrie, which has been a project ongoing for years and years and years. They had it, and then they ditched it, and then they've obviously seen the success from LMP1 to the hypercar. So super exciting going into the future. And yeah, I mean, I think the WEC is in great
shape.
Great shape. I mean, I think they've got obviously they had Spa, this 8 hours of Spa a few weeks ago, and then they had the Qatar race, which was really good. And then they're going to America now, so they're going to have 12 hours of Coda, I think. Yeah. So, correct me if I'm wrong.
It's cool as well because I think you get a lot of ex-F1 drivers. So you get all those people now that are really into F1 and they say, oh, okay, Giovinazzi's now racing, or Nick de Vries, or maybe someone like a Ricardo or Verstappen eventually will do it.
They'll follow them across.
They're going to follow them across as well. So you can see their personalities there.
100%. And it's given some people a second lease on life. Like Mick Schumacher was racing, Danny Kvyat after he got his drive and his wife stolen off him. And then like Paul di Resta, F1 commentator. I mean, there's so many names in there. Matt Campbell as well, the Aussie. He's
the guy I went to school with.
Cambo. Matt Cambo is like the Porsche Carrera Cup master. He always wins Bathurst, Matt Campbell. And he was in the Porsche. Right. He was in the factory Porsche hypercar and actually finished 5th. Sorry, 6th. Correction.
Fair effort.
Great effort.
It's a fair effort just to finish it, really.
Boys, it's just on the bucket list. It's on the bucket list. Like, there was footage of, like, I think the race was going around. They had like a camera on, like they must have had a nightclub or something there. There's this guy, he's like munching his gums like off his face. He's loving it. Like he's got like this. And like there's a car racing. Like there's so many different shit you can do. I mean,
we don't condone that behaviour.
Yeah, we don't at all. But like,
just on
weekends. Imagine you go out, you go party, pick up a couple of chicks, and then you
reckon to meet many girls there, bud.
And then you stand there, you watch 6 hours, then you go and have a few more drinks.
Oh, yeah. You reckon you're sleeping for that 24 hours?
Wow, that guy wasn't. Maybe that's the secret.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the secret.
That's the recipe for success there, I reckon. But that's what Damo Cudlin used to say when he did Le Mans 24 hours. He blew an engine and then he just went straight into the infield and was partying with them.
Yeah. And special mention LMP2 when United Autosports. Who owns McLaren? Who owns the McLaren F1 team? What's his name?
Brown.
Zach Brown. Zach Brown's team won the LMP2. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
You got to give it up to what I love about Le Mans is just I love appreciating how those cars make it that long, like 24 hours driven in anger. Maybe this year was 20 hours driven in anger because it was a 4-hour safety car, which we'll get to. There was a bit of a delay, but you see those cars afterwards, and if you can go to museums and see, like if you go to Audi or Porsche or Ferrari, they'll leave it in there. They don't wash them. They don't wash them, so you'll see them. But there was one time, fun fact, where they put it, I think it was an Audi or some car that won Le Mans 24 hours. They put it into the museum, and the cleaners came in. There's no word of a lie, and they washed the car. And like just made it pristine, and then they walked in the next day, and obviously that guy probably would have got the ass.
Yeah. But hey, here, boss, tell me, show you what I've done.
Yeah.
What? No.
But there's really good footage of obviously those cars are just sitting in the museum now, filthy, but you can see almost like the battle scars, of these cars, and I just love how they've just been driven in anger for 24 hours. Like it's crazy. It's very cool. How you can
Oh, look, it's amazing. And the whole event is incredible. Right, like you were saying, everyone who's there, the commentators, I mean, they were amazing that 24 hours. I mean, I think there's 2 sets of commentators coming in. Yeah, sorry. Like we were saying, like, it's just amazing. The marshals, the commentators, the volunteers, and to stay up that long and for the cars to last that long is just incredible. So that leads me into MJ Trading Cards Performance of the Week, sent in by a fan, Jared Madsen.
And there was two that could have made it for this one, and Jared just edged it.
Edged it up. So Performance of the Week, MJ Trading Cards, 15% off. The Le Mans commentators having to endure 4.5-hour safety car delay. I mean,
that is a supreme effort.
What do you talk about for that long? It's just,
okay, I'll tell you what you can talk about. The Spanish commentators started singing They
Yes.
started singing
You sent me that.
some song or some random song, whatever it was. And then the English commentators last year started talking about doing drugs at 3 a.m.
Yeah,
just
that's
because
right.
like they're going nuts. So that's what they talk about.
But yeah, I mean, how do you like? I don't think if I'm half asleep and haven't had a break and stuff, I would start saying
Yeah,
shit.
you'd go,
silly shit.
you'd go
Yeah.
crazy. You would start saying stuff. Doesn't take much of us, but
No, it doesn't take much
doesn't
of
take
us.
sleep deprivation. That's for sure.
But thanks for sending that in, Jared. Jared Madsen. Sorry, mate.
Told you it's hard reading out these names.
Madsen. Sorry. Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. But yeah, great. That was a great sent and a great take because, yeah, I mean, it takes a special effort. And we talk about that with Scafey and
Crompo and all that.
Mark Crompo. Like, it's how they do Bathurst at full,
Yeah,
like
9 hours or whatever
9
it
hours,
is.
whatever it is, without a break. I mean, that's just insane as well. So-
You'd think they must have to take something for their throats, like old mate. What's his name from Superbikes?
Yeah,
Michael Hill.
Michael Hill.
Because they're
Jaw.
talking all you know, if they're doing
Some
that for 20
strepsils?
hours. Strepsils, yeah. That's legit. I don't know how they do it. It's cool, though. I love it. It's just some of the glory of the events. It's a part of the event.
Yeah. But it's and it isn't a great event, and it's
We need to go.
I know.
How do
need
we
to
go? We need to go, seriously.
know.
The bike one and the car.
Yeah, the bike one looks insane as well. Like, I think you get to see a lot more with the bikes. With the cars, like obviously, it's such a long track,
Yeah.
but it's just such a party atmosphere.
Yeah, well, what else are you going to do? You're not going to sit in a camp chair. Imagine that for 20... It probably is people to actually do that for
100%.
24
Oh, yeah,
hours.
to do
But
it.
yeah, you want to be out in the thick of it when you're getting on it.
Have a crack?
Yeah.
Well, the commentator said this a few times, but there's 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and it's always going to rain at Le Mans, and it rains.
Doesn't it ever?
And
Yeah,
it
so
didn't-
what was the go with that?
Well, it just didn't. First of all, it didn't need rain. Like, it was already going to be so exciting already with all those hypercars so close. They just took a decision at 3:30 in the morning. It started pissing down raining, and they said, "Look, it's just too dangerous."
Is it though? In your opinion, is it?
It went way too long, 100%.
Because there was 4 stages of a safety car, and I've never seen that. And there was such a long safety car, and then the safety cars have to swap out and
Yeah.
refuel.
Yeah, they did.
Like, seriously.
They did, they said that the drivers who were in doing the safety car couldn't shit or piss or anything because you're
Said it so elegantly.
because you're in the car for 3-4 hours, and what they did they put their worst driver in the car to get the minimum hours because you need to complete a minimum of 6 hours. So in some of those LMP3 classes, they have a gentleman driver, so a pro-am driver, so someone who owns the team, or obviously a lesser status. They call them a bronze driver. They have to do at least 6 hours of driving. So they stuck them in there, and just to do the safety car, and then swap back out at the end of the safety car period.
It's not a bad gig, that.
Imagine like you spend all this money, you're like, I'm ready to race,
Yeah.
and they put you in for the safety car, take you back out, and
I
send
feel
you.
like your brain would go crazy.
People were going off. People were
like for doing that for 4.5
Yeah.
hours, like, but at such a slow speed when you've probably amped yourself up for so long to then race. I would request to put like the Motorsport Republica podcast in through the radio or something. Listen to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's like it's like watching 3 Formula One races under the safety car. Could you imagine that? You wouldn't tell your worst enemy to watch that. You wouldn't.
That was the last few laps of Melbourne a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, true. But
Yeah, true.
the thing is, would you rather seen that or red flags 4 hours? I still would have rather seen them go around.
I
Yeah,
really
100%.
I honestly think they're professional drivers, unless there's a river running across that track. You
Yeah.
should be able to just drive to the conditions.
I think the problem is,
And that's the
Yeah.
the heart and soul of 24-hour racing.
the problem is that track is so long. They only have that many ambulances, that many helicopters, that many people, volunteers around the track, that if they all start going off, there's just an impossible situation. So, look, I'm with you 100%. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I mean, there's a
Logistically-
reason behind it.
There has to be, because it was a bit of a dampener, especially when you go through, like, it's such a famous time, golden hour, when the sun goes
know.
up, you get the beautiful shots of like the heated up brake calipers or discs
Yeah.
or whatever they are. And you don't really get that under a safety
No,
car. So,
it definitely took the sting out of the race.
yeah.
And for a race that only happens once a year, it was disappointing not to see that golden golden hour.
Don't Google that.
Yeah, a different thing, man.
So
That's not on Stan Sports.
that's on the Patreon episode, but.
Getty.
But yeah, I mean, what an event. I look forward to it every year. You know,
Yeah.
one year, I'll tell you this is crazy. I It was like June 20th or something. It was like probably 5-6 years ago. I wonder when the Le Mans is going to be coming up. It was last week.
I remember you saying that,
I
actually.
missed it. I couldn't believe it.
Wasn't that through COVID? One of those COVID years, maybe?
Maybe 2020.
I reckon
Yeah.
it was through one of the COVID
Which, like,
years.
it would have been like crying out for a sport back then. So I don't know what happened there, but
Yeah.
Dunno.
It is a really good event to watch.
It is.
I actually want to watch more of it, to be honest.
yeah, I'm actually Coda would be really cool and like a cool event to go to as well.
Yeah,
Really cool event. Like Coda would be amazing to go to.
for sure.
They need to bring something out to Australia, but
I'd love to know. Like, you're right though with Ferrari. They must know something just strategically to win it twice. There'll be so much strategy going into that over 24 hours, and then all to be on the lead lap, and then only win by 30 seconds.
race pace.
Their
Their race pace was incredible. Like you could just tell from the start of the race, like they were just at that half a second quicker each lap. You know, it makes all
and
the
that
difference.
adds up in 24
Yeah.
hours of racing, or like botching a pit stop. Like, if you can easily be stuck in a pit for you're stuck in a pit for 2 minutes for whatever reason. There's you might be now. You could be first to 7th.
Well, there's a
in
situation.
24-hour race.
There's a situation as well called the slow zone. So the slow zone is like pretty much like a safety car without the safety car, like a virtual safety car, but only in a section of the lap. So if you go through the slow zone, you might lose 40 seconds. If they lift the slow zone while your guy they're battling comes up to the slow zone, he's just gained 40 seconds. Like it's a massive difference. And obviously over 24 hours, I mean, there's so many things that can happen, but they only won by 13 seconds in the end.
Yeah, it's not much. Not much at all.
Yeah.
Hey, how's Valentino Rossi been unlucky?
Oh man, that incident! His teammate crashed.
I didn't see it.
He just coming out of the pits, cold tires, and just lost the rear end on like a corner that you'd never lose a rear end at. So just coming over the crest after the first corner, he just turned in. You turn in and then you start turning right. He just lost the rear, span and hit it, broke the water pipe, whatever it was, and then they just couldn't fix it. So
What a spew.
I don't know. I think he did have a stint, but I don't know if he had much of a stint in the car either.
Well, they're all leading though, weren't they? That car.
They were, yeah. It's Le Mans though. It's Le Mans. Like that's the thing.
it.
Like the Cadillac last year crashed in the fourth corner of the race, the first lap.
Yeah, I know.
Like it's Le Mans.
And it's a team sport. You got two other drivers.
Oh, geez, that would be tough, wouldn't it? If someone's crashed. Imagine with your tail between your legs trying to walk back to the pits.
I know, and imagine if it's like for 22 hours of driving or something like that. 20.
You'd rather it at the start.
Yeah.
Or a breakdown. There was a breakdown of like an hour and a half to go, an hour to go, and that's when it could happen.
Bro,
because everything's been used.
In 2019, the Toyota broke down on the last lap in the lead. 350 laps. You broke the last lap.
Unlike Toyota, come on, what are they doing?
Unbreakable.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went into limp mode and then. Yeah, and then I think the Porsche beat him. Like, it wasn't his teammate came through. It was a Porsche. So
Wow. That's the great thing about the sport, though. It's getting its dues now again, isn't it?
What?
I feel like...
What's so?
yeah, they actually own it now, the Jewish.
Sorry.
No, it's gone back to its glory years. I kind of reckon like the mid-90s, late 80s, mid-90s.
Group C racing. They were talking about comparing that era, and like they're comparing that era. It's like it's the best era in sports car racing or hypercar racing.
What was the year Webber flipped that car, and what car was it?
That was Group C back in early 90s.
Can you Google that one for us, Curdy? Yeah, we'll have a look. Just ask Google. It's like Joe Rogan.
McLaren, Mercedes, Mark Webber, Le Mans. Just put that in. It'll tell you what year. I think it was 89.
Really, it was that long ago? 89 Mark Webber?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe later. Maybe it was later.
It has to be mid-90s, surely.
Well,
he raced
true.
until 2010. What have we got, Curdy?
I'm seeing around 1999.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
that sounds right. Yeah, sorry. Yep. Thanks,
Mate,
Katie.
that thing flies about.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, there you go.
There you go. Thanks, Kurt.
Oh, okay, there we go. I got nothing else.
Yeah, nothing else. I think we'll get into some F1. You had a couple of questions for me, James, that you wanted to answer on the pod.
Yeah, with F1, what's to go with all these new regs? Electric cars, it's changing.
Yes, there are some changes. So in 2026, the car will have a new engine with almost 50% of like internal combustion power and 50% electrical power.
Okay.
And they're obviously going to be going towards more of that sustainable fuel they're speaking about, that fully man-made fuel, which I personally think is going to be in road cars in the near distant future.
Okay.
So dropping the MGU-H system and updating the MGU-K system, so more the Kerr system, and having that as a larger system. So I think that's going to produce around the 350 kilowatt mark.
Okay.
And then obviously removing that system will be less complicated. That's why Ford's coming in and there's other manufacturers coming in as well.
So were they changing the regs and they had it planned out and then they changed it again?
No, it was always going to be that.
Okay.
They just released the regs.
Okay, right,
Yeah, they released the regs. I personally didn't think they was going to go 50-50. So from all reports, the early stage of testing, the cars are going to be super slow. So like we're talking 2014 F1 when they changed the regs. Like they could be, I think they're 12 seconds lap faster now than they were in 2014.
Yeah, gotcha.
So big difference. So, but they need to get small. They need to get
Smaller for sure.
We always say this. They don't need to be that fast.
No.
It doesn't make it any more exciting. Watching like 2006, 7 F1 dart cars, the smaller cars darting around was so much more exciting to watch. So, and tracks like Hungary, Monaco, these tracks are going to come alive again. Probably not Monaco, but Hungary.
I get what you're saying.
So yeah, and then obviously new regulations, smaller cars, more probably simple design at the start, and then they'll develop it from there. So
Right.
but we'll see. And then it's interesting, like, for example, who's going to take that leap like Mercedes did?
To like shoot forward
Yeah.
or make that first big breakthrough.
And Sainz going to Williams. I know he probably doesn't have a lot of choices,
Yeah.
but it's interesting to me. It's interesting that he would go that route because obviously they're probably the second worst team on the grid. Or maybe third worst. But yeah, they might have something in the works that looks really promising.
Yeah.
There's a reason why Hamilton went to Mercedes because they said, mate, this is the recipe. We've got what we think we've got this nailed.
Yeah.
Obviously, he went through that hard year in 2013 to get to 14. So maybe that's science. Maybe that's rewriting history. So
Who knows?
or reliving history, I should say.
Do you reckon F1's just going to go fully electric at one point?
No, definitely not. No,
Not the way of the future?
Not the way of the future. And the other thing is they've got an electric class. They've got the Formula E. So
How's that going anyway? Is it?
nah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I don't mind watching it. It's okay. They usually do it over the summer, so you'll see a lot of races when obviously F1's not racing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be interesting times. Next year is gonna be a bit of a bedard year. We'll see what happens, but it looks so competitive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Between the different teams and like the top 5 teams are pretty close at the moment. So we'll see. That's what we want. That's the exciting part.
You just want it to be close. The secret to it is you just don't know who's going to win. Even if normally with F1, traditionally it seems like it's always between two drivers. It's always a battle between two drivers, which is fine. That's awesome, And the more is better. But as long as you know, like, okay, Verstappen is not going to win this race, like every race almost. Where it's better if you just don't know who's going to win.
Well, that's the thing. That's what makes racing so exciting. That's what made Hypercar so exciting with 24 Hour Le Mans. Had no idea who was going to win. There was 6-7 teams that could win.
Yeah.
So, like and Formula One, I reckon, has got like that, guys. We don't know this weekend who's going to win the race. And we think Verstappen, is in the fastest car, the fastest driver, but Perez is doing nothing in that car. And Ferrari look good some weekends. They look bad some weekends.
Yeah, they're hot and cold Ferrari.
McLaren can come out and win like they have in America.
I think like a traditional circuit though, that's where Red Bull and Verstappen really comes into its own.
and which is the most Catalonia is the most testing traditional circuit going around on the calendar.
I don't think it's a great F1 circuit. Remember last year was the biggest snooze fest of a race.
Yeah, I think
It's great motorcycle track.
They have done a good thing though with removing that last chicane.
Oh yeah, that was a dud. That was a dud in MotoGP.
Yeah,
So-
it wasn't any good there either.
And they got rid of it because bloody poor little fella, who died there on the last corner? Was it
Salom? Louis
Louis
Salom
Salom
passed away.
He passed away on that last corner. That's where the chicane got introduced. And
Yeah. They
then
still
it
got rid of it.
Then it got lifted for MotoGP, and the F1 stayed there for a couple of years. I was like, what the hell's going on? So, but you'll notice that tracks going forward now are higher speed. So because they know that promotes overtaking. A fast corner leading onto a straight actually is better than a slow corner going onto a straight.
Yeah, okay.
So because you get that Constantine effect where you're both slow and then one shoots away, where it's fast you can stay even through the whole corner.
Down lines up and up.
Yeah, and then flick the DRS open. And going back to what we're talking about with the 2026 regs, they're dropping DRS. There's going to be no DRS going forward. So they're going to have like an X mode and a Z mode. So if you're behind someone, you press the X mode and it will just release a little, I think, some more airflow through the car. So then it'll be like a DRS effect. But you'll be able to do that anywhere.
Okay.
So there'll be no 1 second or anything like that. So we'll see how they develop that rule going forward. But
I'm sure they'll make changes. Didn't DRS you could use that through qualifying?
You could use it anywhere.
Any part of the track, and they used to get super loose going through, like, you know.
Yeah, it got wild there because like little short open close, open close. I don't know how they did it. Like I remember playing the game on F1 and going like you open it close, like here you could just do it all the time. But then it became a safety concern because I think someone left it open or something along the lines of that.
I think you're right actually with that. I think you're right.
Oh goodness,
that's so funny.
Yeah, but I mean, not that much more news in the F1 side of things. Antonelli looks really close to Mercedes seat for next year. So it's either going to be, my opinion, Antonelli at Mercedes, signs at Williams, or they'll do 1 year opposite and then switch back, maybe. But I just don't know. I don't know why. Like, why would you bother?
Why would you?
Put the kid in the young seat. During the week, they've lowered the super license age to 17.
Okay.
They're saying that's the Antonelli, like that he changed that. So it's Toto Wolff thinks he's found his Verstappen. So we'll see if he's right.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. Antonelli hasn't dominated like Verstappen had. But remember, Verstappen was never in F2.
He was went F3 to F1. Yeah.
So, but he absolutely dominated F3, which Antonelli did. So, we'll see.
Do you see because I don't really follow F3. I don't know about you, Daniel, but I don't really follow F3 or F2. Do you see drivers? Obviously, Verstappen, you're saying did, but dominate those lower categories. Because if you go in the history of MotoGP, you see your Rossies, your Marquez, your
nobody dominates it. No one has dominated that category. No one wins every race or anything like that.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, you've got reverse grid. So when they have their feature race, they reverse the order for the sprint race. So the top 10 reverses. So you never have someone that absolutely dominates.
Yeah.
Overtaking still super hard. Moto 2, Moto 3 overtaking is fairly easy.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect of it as well. So yeah, no, definitely not. Definitely not. So, and that's probably where more the car affects more than what the driver, where Moto 2, Moto 3 is more the rider than the teams. And that's always with 4 cars versus 2, 4 wheels versus 2 wheels. It's always been the case.
That must be hard to find talent or gamble on talent, unless they probably obviously really look into their data on how they're driving the car. Because like, okay, for example, Jack Doohan, okay, he could be an amazing talent, but being a dud car, but then they might be able to see his data, you know, if you get what I'm saying. So.
100%. And they've obviously, Mercedes have seen this, and there's a reason why he's in the hot, you know.
There has to be something like that.
They've seen something.
They're not stupid.
And they would have seen it in F3. They would have seen it in the first half of F2 that, like, he's putting up great results, and it's his first 6 races. I mean, I've been talking to Danby during the week about it, and he's like, "No, he's a dud. He's this and that." You know, what quick Danby is to judge things, but. And I'll cop a message about this next week.
Dan shaking his head.
But then he'll sign and say, "Yeah, no, I reckon, I will call that. I knew that all along. You know what he's like.
Never wrong.
No, exactly. He's like a Dave Shaw.
Shout out.
So, but I called this from the start. I mean, I just think it's a Mercedes. What they should need to do is to change this and bring the new gun in there. So.
It'd be good to see some young, new, hot talent though in the F1. Like it needs it
in a good car.
Yeah,
like how they put Hamilton in that Mercedes. You know, there hasn't really been anything since. A lot of drivers have gone to their second team first. Like your Verstappen went to Toro Rosso. That didn't obviously last long, and then moved forward. Like how Leclerc went in the Sauber first.
Vettel was Toro Rosso as well, wasn't he?
Vettel was Toro Rosso. One in Monza in 07, which was a crazy race. So, yeah.
There you go. That's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what F1 looks like in 10, 15 years.
Yeah, they're not going to go full electric. I think as I touched on, this fully synthetic fuel, call it, I think that's the way of the future. And if they can start developing that in race cars, they'll start putting that in road cars, which has always been the case over the last century. So
you reckon the sound will ever come back?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's in talks. That's why they wanted to have this success with this fuel, because you can start putting V8s back in the cars.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
But then would that be viable for them for developing engines for road cars?
Well, yeah, because if they can develop this fuel, we can bring back these big engines and run these big engines off this sustainable fuel.
Oh, okay, right.
That's
get
what
you're
I
saying.
reckon. That's the future, and that's the
Yeah.
future in road cars as well. Because mate, nobody's buying it. Like, don't worry, don't listen to Channel 9 News. Nobody's buying EV cars. There's a massive pushback on EVs.
Well, I was going to say a lot of the big players in car manufacturing have pushed back on it anyway.
Yeah, they have.
They've
Like,
moved away from, I think, even hybrid. I think they're starting to move to hydro.
yeah,
Okay.
Volkswagen's gone back to like petrol development engines. Interestingly, Le Mans is going to bring in a hydro powered category in the next
Yep.
few years as well. So there's going to be that different look at things. And I think, yeah, I mean, it just, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. mean, I'm not smart enough to know what the answer is. So.
But EV cars seems like it's on its way out almost.
It's like it's had its moment.
Yeah.
It's had its moment. And look, I enjoy driving them myself. I drive one personally, but for a company car.
It's nice that you came out on the podcast.
company car, Luke. And I love driving them, but am I spending $100,000 on a car that
Can't charge your
is-
phone because it's on 3%
Yeah.
battery. Stupidest thing ever.
Barely
not-
made it back to Melbourne.
yeah, true, and it's not worth $1 in 10 years' time, you know? So, anyway,
Yeah, that's the thing.
that is the thing.
I really do hope the sound comes back. I really miss that. Like when we've been to F1 in the past few years, obviously, and
Yeah.
like you can have a chat while the racing's on.
Yeah,
I don't want to
yeah.
be able to talk to someone while the racing's on.
And then everyone like sees the V10, you know, 2-seater Minardi, and they go, "Oh my god!" Everyone takes their things off and goes, "Oh, how good is this?"
You can hear it when it starts up in pit lane. You hear it around the whole
Yeah, you
lap.
hear around the whole track.
Imagine 24 of those things going around.
True.
That's where it's at. What's
Curdy?
up, Curdy?
Well, I would like to say, this is the right way, Porsche's been doing this for a couple of years already with their e-fuel and the hypercars in some of the more GT racings.
Yep.
Whether it's like what would you say, like a concept car or anything like that, they've been doing it.
Yeah, right.
And they've also agreed in 2026 to make a plant for e-fuel in Tasmania as well.
There you go. Yeah.
So it's not, could be something very close in the future.
A renewable
E-fuel.
energy and renewable.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
growing something to power something. That's the future.
Growing something. Okay.
Growing a plant to seed oil it and develop it into a fuel. That's where the future is going to lie.
Would that make our cars autistic?
No, as long as they don't use the Teflon cookware and they filter their water, you'll be fine. Okay?
Okay.
I keep saying this.
Yeah, gotcha.
I'm loving the little input from Curtis.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, good. Yeah, I love it.
Just on that actually as well, Suzuki did it this year in endurance.
Yeah.
They used a 40% biosourced
You
sustainable
did say
fuel
that.
Yeah, there you go.
in a proto, like
Yeah.
a proto bike.
It's where that's where it's at. I'm telling
It
you.
actually seems to be. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. So they won't be bombing Iraq for oil anymore. They'll just be growing.
No, Iraq will develop their own plant, okay, and they'll develop it like the Saudi Arabia, like all those oil rich countries. They'll develop something else.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
they're so rich to do it. That's the thing. So,
That's where the next big billion trillionaire is, and you make that right.
Daniel Brishy, Mr. Superbike.
What do we got?
a big
Hometown as well.
Yeah,
Misano.
hometown. That's you.
That's
yeah.
where La Familia was from, aren't they? On the
Yeah,
coast.
Not far away.
On the
Yeah,
coast.
Lake Como.
But that's not actually Italy, but is it?
Misano. Yeah, what is it? It's San
What's San
Marino.
Marino?
So
yeah.
that's its own country, isn't it?
It's kind of like
like
kind of like the Vatican.
Yeah, like Tasmania, sort
Yeah,
of thing?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Just no inbreds and stuff in Italy, you know.
Oh, the poor Tasmanians aren't going to be happy with that.
Yeah, pretty good weekend. I didn't get to watch all of Super Pole, but
Race 1, Race 2 is the main one anyway. let's be
yeah,
honest.
exactly right. A couple little cool things through the weekend though. A couple really good saves in the Super Sport category. Manzi almost launched himself
I did see
into
that.
orbit, and I showed Jim coming out of a really fast right-hander and saved it, and Veritas onto the straight, same thing. Bit of bucking all over the joint on his V2 and saved it. So
Is he the guy that we saw on Superbikes, Daniel, like warming up, running up and down pit lane?
Yes.
it
Remember that
might have-
Spanish kid?
Yeah, it would have been
Manzi.
him.
Yeah.
No, that was Veritas.
Veritas.
Manzi's the I think
Italian.
he used to be part of VR46 back in the day.
Okay, right.
Was he
if
the
I'm
one
not
running
mistaken.
around and like didn't care that people were?
Yeah.
That's Veritas.
Yeah.
And that's where pod favorite Marinello like skipped a line and got him fed in Pinots.
That's
remember?
right.
Yeah.
Yes. He was intense, that kid. So he in Supersport.
He's in Supersport. Yeah, he is on the Aruba bike. So
On the V2, yeah?
a factory Ducati bike.
Yeah, it was a factory. He was in the factory kit.
Yeah, so he's leading the championship. He did the double actually.
Oh, wow.
In Supersport.
How did our boy Tommy Gunn go? Pod fave.
He finished first in the I can't remember exactly what it's called, but
Like the Euro thing,
that Euro
yeah?
championship that they do just for the guys that ride the Euro rounds. I think he was 16th overall in race 1, and then in race 2, I'd have to look at the results real quick.
Sorry, I put you on the spot there.
You did, but it's all right. You know, it happens. He actually had a retirement,
Spilling.
so I'm pretty sure it was an engine failure.
Ah, bugger.
Come on, Ducati.
There
flip your
was
game.
plenty of engine failures all weekend.
Why?
Yeah, Phil Bottle's
Pod favourite, Philip Bottle, his
why?
bike blew.
Is it just that?
Don't know. It seemed to be a Yamaha thing, to be honest.
Didn't Brian's bike blow up as well? Didn't they blow an engine? In
Yeah,
ASBK or something?
first round of ASBK.
Yeah, see, something's going on with Yamaha. Then you said Dommy went DNF twice?
DNF twice as well. Yep. 2 engine failures. Yeah, struggling, the Yamaha.
It's not something you hear of a lot.
Not for
it's not.
Yamaha. No, exactly.
Well,
especially
bikes
them.
in general.
True.
I remember when Rossi blew his engine in Magello.
Fun fact about that, Lorenzo blew it in practice.
Yes.
And Lorenzo was just lucky that he blew it in practice, and then they were going for battle in Magello. God, that was probably one of the biggest anticlimaxes, and the whole world was going for Rossi.
Of course.
Oh, and he blew that. And when I saw that white smoke,
You might have to bring back a Take Me Back. What was our segment?
I've actually got a slight one today with Rossi and Magello. I watched. I'll wait. We'll talk about it afterwards because it was really good.
Yeah, we did ditch that pretty quickly, didn't we?
What was it called?
Throw it back.
Throw
Throw it back. Yeah,
Actually, I've got one. We'll bring it back today. I'm throwing it back to throw it back.
Okay, cool.
So Supersport Race 1, Veritas, Yari Montella and Stefano Manzi. I'm just going to go through the top threes. Race 2, Andrea Huertas, Yari Montella and Valentin de Bees third.
So our boy Waritas did 1-on-1.
He did the double, yeah.
Oh,
so
good on him. That's awesome.
We call that the Jet Lawrence.
Yes.
yeah, he did the jet.
Oh, he raced this weekend as well, didn't he?
You went 1-1.
There you go.
Stan, I mean, we don't even talk about it anymore.
Race 1 was really, really good, actually. Huertas pipped Montella out of the last corner, literally on the line.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was a really, really good battle between them.
Great circuit. Great last sector. I love the last sector at Misano.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, one of the best.
really good to see him go through there. Race 2 was red flagged because of one of the engine failures. There was a bit of oil on the track, so that's how we won that. So yeah, that was Super Sport, and then Superbikes. Geez, Top Rack can ride.
Yeah, bringing BMW back to glory. I think to their first title if he wins it.
If he wins, it'll be first title. It's their first hat trick of wins.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Dominated.
Race 1, Super Pole race, and race 2, he just made it work.
Yeah. Chase
Funnily
down
enough,
Bulliger.
Van der Mark had an engine failure. His teammate.
God.
So and that's kind of they were probably the most prone for it so far this year.
Yeah.
BMW. Top Rack had a.
It's gotta be
had
something.
one
He had
somewhere
one
as well.
earlier in the season, didn't
He
he?
did,
gotta be
yeah.
something
At
in that.
Phillip Island, he had one.
Is it the
Remember the
island, was
bike
it?
blew
Yeah, right.
when we were there. So
I thought it was Kempy's Aprilia blowing, ruining
No, that was
race
a big
two.
guy.
that was that too.
That was big Kemp.
Remy Gardner had a great start.
In
but
race
then-
1?
In race 1, but
Yeah.
then just faded a little bit. Ended up, I think, 6 or 7.
Yeah.
At least the engine didn't blow. Bloody hell.
Yeah, I know,
exactly.
right? And he's on Yamaha.
Johnny Ray, I don't know what's going on.
He had a massive crash, didn't
He
he?
had a huge crash.
Yeah.
So I couldn't find any footage. I don't know whether
Standard Superbikes.
Yeah.
Actually, I got a gripe with Superbikes. Their camera footage
It's
is
terrible.
terrible. It should be Dorna. We've talked about this before,
Yeah.
but I was watching both races,
It's
and like the
shocking.
pans are like a sand trap.
Yeah.
When you know he's making a move, I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah. And they don't film the practice sessions, do they?
Yeah, it's on there. I think it's just harder to come by on
okay.
KO and that. It's not really
Don't
televised
televise it.
as much. But yeah, Jonathan Ray just struggling with the Yamaha. I thought Lekawona did well in both races, considering that Honda's a bucket of bolts.
Yeah. Still.
But yeah, Top Rack, like I said, hat trick of wins. He moves now to 5th, I think it is, on the all-time win list with 45.
Wow.
So it's pretty amazing. I mean, it's a lot easier for the guys now because they're doing 3 races versus, you know,
Does the
courses,
Super Bowl
Colin Edwards
race-
and that.
does that-
It counts towards it. So a lot of them say like, oh, you know, it's great to be there, but it doesn't count because we're doing extra races and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, race 1, Top Rack Ratsgatlioglu, Nicolo Bulliga
nice.
second,
Well done.
and Alvaro Bautista third. Super Pole Top Rack second, Nicolo Bulliga, and third, Alex Lowe's. Race 2, you wouldn't believe it. Top Rack Ratsgatlioglu.
Oh,
Guys.
2 out of 3 not bad.
Nicolo Bulliga and Alvaro Bautista third.
Beautiful.
Yeah, decent racing. Top Rack, like I said, he's just way too good on that BMW, and yeah,
It's amazing how he can go to that team and it just starts winning. It just shows you how good a rider he is.
Well, yeah, wasn't bad on the R1. What a title, but he obviously jumped off at the right time.
he did.
But I mean, how's Vandermark going? Where's he finishing?
He's getting top 8s,
He's
top
still smoking
10s,
darts at the
but
pub.
he's still at the pub having a bit.
Yeah, but that's a big difference. He's not second, third.
Yeah, but he's not Top Rack either.
But that shows
Yeah.
how good he is.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
what I'm saying,
Like,
like-
like when's that kid going to get on a MotoGP bike? I mean,
I think he's
seriously.
been hard done by Top Rack.
I don't think so. If you watch the way he rides, he
Bro,
would not last on a
if he was
GP bike.
if he was Spanish, he'd be on MotoGP.
100%.
100%.
You know, come on, Daniel.
Yeah,
Spanish Mafia.
Spanish
was getting
Mafia.
up.
Yeah, like, but he'd
Of
be in
course.
there. They'd squeeze him in there. Like, and they're already trying to get him back.
Yeah.
he'll-
And Top Rack's a better rider. and Superbikes than
100%.
you
Why
know.
would you
Oh,
take?
yeah,
why would you
100%.
take Yononi when you can have Top Rack? Like,
Yeah.
Yononi, obviously amazing talent, but
Yeah.
know. Would you have to pay Top Rack?
I don't think so. I think they're just worried about the way he rides, to be honest. But I mean, Miller and Binder do it,
Yeah,
and they make it work.
kind of.
Kind of.
They used to.
Yeah, not anymore. But yeah, he's an absolute animal. Shout out to Petrucci as well. It was his first race back after that horrific incident, and he finished, I think, all 3 races in the top 10, just
that's really
about.
good.
So,
Gotta
That's
love
really
him.
good.
Gotta love Petrucci.
man, he did so well.
Yeah, the Rainmaster.
Yeah, exactly.
CR 500 master, Dakar master.
Yeah.
Man does it all.
He looks about 60 now, if Paul Bastard's been cut up. But yeah, good on him. That's a great result for him because that would knock you around a lot. And
100%.
mentally wise, it'd be hard to come back.
100%.
Yeah.
So, championships in a good way. It's pretty close, both Supersport and Superbike.
Yeah.
And then I just read before BMW's feeder, so the second team, Bonovo BMW, will no longer exist next year.
Okay.
From 2025, they're pulling out of Super, so that means BMW will only have the factory bike.
Which will then go to MotoGP.
Hopefully will that open a path.
Hopefully, I mean, Vandermark's just signed on to stay as Top Rack's teammate, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see where Garrett Gerloff and Scott Redding end up.
Yeah. Yeah,
With,
it's a good point.
Which is weird because, you know, with the development of the BMW, you would think they'd want to keep another 2 bikes there to further that. But, I mean, yeah, fingers crossed it's for a bigger picture and
I reckon it
they're
is.
going to be in GP at 27, which will be
That'd be
absolutely unreal.
Yeah.
Maybe Scott Redding might be back.
Yeah, pod favourite now.
Pod favourite.
Oh, he's a part of the Republica team, isn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
We
that
didn't
literally
get
just
him
came
on
out.
for a podcast, everyone.
should.
He just follows us.
Yeah,
That's cool though. We might cross to him one day.
Yeah.
We might see him down the island.
100%.
yeah, it'd be pretty sick. But yeah, that's what I've got from Supers. Good weekend. It's good that it was back. Good to see some bike racing.
Superbikes is
especially
going to
in
be, again, another interesting one in the next few years when there's new technical developments of MotoGP, how they Dorna look after it, because Superbikes has got a lot there.
How Liberty Media look
Sorry,
after it.
Liberty Media,
Yeah.
my fault. How they, look after it, because there's, it's good racing. It's really good racing, but most of the time. But there's a long breaks, which does not help any sport.
No, not at all.
And they leave Europe once.
They got to go more around, and they used to.
They need to go to America. Like, why don't like Laguna Seca? They'd be perfect.
Laguna Seca, Sepang, something like there, like those Indonesian tracks. I bet you they'll get a crowd there.
Yeah, 100% they would. It is going to be interesting. There's talks that it's going to go more towards a super stock.
You're saying
Which I
that,
like
yeah.
that. That's good.
Yeah, so it'll be a little bit more bare bones. But we'll wait and see. I think it all depends on how well these GP bikes
Yeah.
come up after the new regs.
Well, I think we were surprised with the new regs with GP because we thought they would strip aero off altogether. They would change, but they haven't seemed like they've done a lot of change apart from the engine, obviously. So I think they have to go to that super stock look, and you can go, this is the prototype bike, this is a super stock bike, and have them as 2 completely separate things, which they are now. But it's going to get both fans interested in the sport. So
100%.
if they start putting wings on a superbike and stuff, it won't work.
Well, there
There is already.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the BMW prime example
All wing.
and the Ducati. Like,
One thing I don't like with Superbikes is I hate how they have the fake lights on there. It just screws with my tears, man. I hate the fake lights.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
It annoys me. I like
Like a
having
NASCAR.
I like having like a massive number on the front. People can understand this, I reckon, but I can't handle that.
But they still got the big numbers.
Nah, not really. When Johnny Ray had his little number 1 on there, if I was Johnny Ray and I finally got my number 1 and it was just some little dicky thing, I would have cracked it. I want like a Mick Dorn number 1.
Yeah,
But
I'm actually, yeah. I it's a good point, though. Like, because I haven't really noticed that. But that's probably why the bikes don't look as sharp as, say, a
They
MotoGP
don't.
bike.
I hate the fake lights. It's dumb. Don't give me fake lights.
God, we've been in a pit box I didn't even notice.
Well, the
I should
Yamaha,
have talked to Phil just before I went out.
the
Practice.
Yamaha, it's not too bad because their lights are underneath.
Yeah, same with
Yeah.
Ducati.
The fairing.
Ducati's like
yeah,
that.
right.
But if you look at like
The Kawasaki.
the Kawasaki, it's like right in there, and the Honda. Oh, the Honda's not too bad, but it's just like I said, bucket of bolts.
It is a bucket. It's just
Yeah, they're all categories.
know.
Suzuka 8 Hour? When's that on?
it's not on. It's not on. I don't know. We'll have to get with boys. Maybe Curdy can look it up.
I thought it wasn't too far away, but I thought it was in the summer
Well,
break.
I saw a few riders over there testing for it.
Yeah,
They normally
okay.
test like 2 or 3 a month out or something like that. They do something like that.
It would be perfect like in a couple of weeks because like obviously MotoGP is on their break.
Yeah, when's Assen? 2 weeks?
Yeah, sorry, Aston is in 2 weeks. That's probably a
It's
month.
probably next weekend, isn't it? It's got F1 this weekend.
yeah, it
and
is.
Assen
Yeah, it
probably
is
next
too.
weekend.
I think.
Finally. What do we got, Curdy?
I've
on,
got
bro.
it here, Curtis, if you don't have it. July 19th.
Oh, okay, we're still a month away, which actually works out perfectly because that's in the middle of the MotoGP break. So
Yeah, I actually want to watch that. And it's good because it's on our time zone at least.
watch it.
Basically. Yeah, I might have to do a watch party.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe do it.
Benzina.
Get a few people involved.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That'd be good. It's a good race to watch.
And then we've got like 8 hours to have some few beers and enjoy ourselves rather than a quick 40-minute race or something.
Cook a
So
Barbie.
yeah. Oh, actually, that's on the weekend of the Benzina event here. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
Weekend after.
Weekend after.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Perfect.
think maybe I could be wrong.
Are we going to do some hot takes, James?
No, we're talking about MotoGP first.
MotoGP first. Hot takes to finish. Beautiful.
Oh, just on MotoGP before we get lost in the legit side of it.
Drum roll.
Drum roll, please. Yeah, so Aprilia announced their 2025 rider sighting on Saturday night, and I've got a bone to pick with. You know what? He can be number 2 ticket holder now. Stephen Brayshaw. He's written in, have Olin's been informed of this? Well done, Stephen.
That's a great take.
That was a great take. I did laugh.
That was very funny.
It's a, like if you know sort of joke
Yeah,
in the
100%.
motorbike industry. So that was really good.
It was well played. Like, stuff you, but, you know, the Colonel's just too good.
Yeah, it is. Ooh, that could be a dinner idea.
But no, that was very, very funny. We had a couple little funny replies to that. Christian Cairns was very supportive of the decision of Aprilia. So well done, Christian. Thanks for getting behind me, mate.
Well, you've been watching Jorge Martin a lot, so you picked up all the traits these days.
100%.
That was a funny joke. Remember at the start? This is like
God,
a full
this
year
was
ago.
a year ago.
A year
Yeah.
ago, the pod.
This
goes,
is OG pod.
You're like, I watched the riders. I get some like info from. Oh my god, we lost our shit, didn't we? I know what you were trying to say, but like it just came across so funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've
I'm
got
good.
full circle and Eve signed.
But,
So
yeah, now it's
congratulations.
signed. So yeah, thanks for everything, boys. And I'll
See you later.
Yeah, I might remember you, maybe not. But let's be
Yeah,
honest.
can you come on for an interview?
Probably not. Can't afford me.
Oh, that's funny.
And then we
man.
even had a good friend, Special Ed, send in a photo of some special liveries in the Super Sport, actually. And he's like, nothing better than a special livery with a winking face. So,
Jesus.
it's good to see everyone getting around.
Yeah, Tom, you've
And jump
rightfully
on,
copped flack for that.
I have, yeah, and it's good. As I said, it's good to hear everyone's views. I mean,
And you know what's so funny? He talks shit about special liveries, and what does MotoGP come out with like the next day? Silverstone, everyone's running a special livery. Like
Bro,
you couldn't make
I
that
know.
up. You couldn't script
we've
that.
hit that many hole-in-ones
Yeah.
in the last year. It's been incredible. Like, we start this podcast, limited me to buy MotoGP after
Yeah.
they bought F1. Like, boom.
Hamilton goes to Ferrari.
Hamilton goes to Ferrari.
Marquez
Marquez
Ducati.
de Grassini, T-Shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Before anyone picked
You
that,
did, you
T-Shirt picked it.
Talks about himself in third person.
Antonelli going to sign for Mercedes. T-Shav again.
Roll the tapes.
Get him out.
He forgets that all this is recorded.
Exactly right. If you
there
got
was another
episode,
one.
if you got
Marcus
episode
Ducati.
41 at 20 minutes and 37 seconds, you will find that I actually said that.
Hang on, there was another one as well. I'm just gonna get it up. Where was it?
Martin to Aprilia.
Yeah,
Martin
big
to
one.
Aprilia. No, you're right. The liveries was the last holding one. Like that's just you couldn't write that, could
Nah,
you?
you
couldn't
couldn't.
script that.
I
so.
couldn't believe you said that. Everyone couldn't believe you said that. But hey, how exciting is that? Every team's running a special livery. Me and Dan are gonna have a field day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it is. That's cool. If everyone's running it, that's fine. I'll accept that.
What are you
but
talking about?
There's so many possibilities for some of these teams too because they don't really have a special livery.
If Ducati need to go to like OG 03,
Yeah.
red and white, Marlboro in quotation marks livery.
yeah, and then I mean, Repsol Honda doing.
Yeah, it's
That'd
what
be
they
insane.
said.
do it.
It's
They
gotta
have
be.
to. Yeah,
But,
with
but
that.
you know the problem that stuffs them up because they're not full Repsol at the moment.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's a retro round.
They better.
I know that's the
They
thing.
better.
Stuff. Take the bullshit sponsors out of it. Do this right. You know, like do it right. Don't do it half-assed.
Aprilia better do the Aprilia Cube.
Cube,
It's
yep.
got to be
Yeah.
the Cube.
The Red Bull Yamaha for
Red-
the KTM. Was it that they ran back in the day?
Yeah, the blue.
Like the blue.
Yep.
If that makes sense to the listeners.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting. I'm actually
Yamaha's
excited
got
about
a
it.
choice of the yellow and black or the white and red.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might run both.
Yeah, one of each.
Well, the
VR46
white and red for Yamaha was for the Euros, and the yellow and black was for the Americans.
Yeah.
What would VR46 do? Are they going to do a
Well,
Rossi
they
livery?
might run a cool old school Rossi livery. We were talking about like the psychedelic or
Yeah, the Hawaiian.
the Hawaiian, the Aston. Like they got
Yeah.
Take your pick.
Yeah.
Take your pick of Rossi for sure.
Grassini. We've seen they've run it before
Yeah.
Yeah.
in Misano. So
I reckon there's going to be a couple of shit ones as well, like real disappointing. But I mean, hopefully there's
who's-
some
I
exciting
hope
ones.
not.
LCR will probably have a good one.
Yeah.
normally produce something.
Someone wrote in. I'm sorry, I forgot your name. I saw it. I think they wrote in. I saw it on the comment. Do you know what Idemitsu Honda's going to do? They're going to use the Imperial Japanese flag. If I find whoever said that, I'll credit you.
That's the red on the outside.
Yeah.
Yes. Imagine they do.
I saw that and I lost my shit. That was so funny. I had to write it down.
If you know, you know as well.
You know. Oh, that was so good. Castrol would just be a cool old school Castrol livery. That's not hard.
True, yeah. But like, you know what I think of the Doohan livery? I think of, okay, yes, it's a special livery, but it's going back to like classic liveries, which I'm all for.
A throwback.
A throwback. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
It's the silly other ones that I'm not a huge fan of. But anyway, what we were saying?
We're just talking about liveries.
Yeah, that's why you bored me so much.
It's wild. That's wild. They need to do more of it. They need to do more.
No. I'm just happy.
They've actually kind of brought it back, I reckon, the last few years. They didn't do it for a long time. Ducati used to do some with Stoner.
Yeah,
Stoner
they used to be
Bayless.
Australian. That's where my hatred started with the Australian ones because I just wanted to see the cool Ducati, red Ducati going around. It was white with a blue.
Oh, I got to admit that actually looked nice.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, I didn't mind it at all.
There you go.
Isn't that funny? The Aussies and the Italians for so long has been like the ultimate partnership in MotoGP.
True.
It's very true. They've won so many motorcycle world titles with each other.
Crazy.
All right, we've got to finally talk about it. Do you know what's so funny? This is how much we know on this podcast. We said Vinales, it's an 80% done deal. He's with Honda.
Hey, you said that, not we just said that.
I think it was you actually. Roll the tapes. I'm actually pretty sure it was you. I'm like 90% sure it was you.
Oh, I'm 80%.
And then he signs with Tech 3.
Which it's like I'm always going to say that's more of a surprise than anything else
That's
that's
the
happened
biggest
this year.
surprise out of
Yeah.
everything. No one saw that coming.
Yeah, and what a team! What a fucking team! Those four
All four.
riders.
Yeah, all four. It's
That's
a
a
great
good
team.
stable.
If they can't improve from there, like there's no excuses.
All
Now,
factory bikes.
yeah, the young gun.
Top 3. They need to be top 3 in a title.
Yeah,
One of
definitely.
those riders.
What
Because
a
they can learn off each other, off all the data.
what a
They can
force-
develop with each other.
Force to be reckoned with, man. It's gonna be
Yeah.
amazing.
Who's the weakest link out of all them?
Binder
Matt-
at the moment.
I would have
Oh
said,
yeah, at the moment.
I would have said Binder. Yeah, if you're not wrong. I know you were saying Maverick.
Binder's got
yeah.
the most to lose now next year.
But
Yeah,
you know what?
100%.
Maverick is on a KTM. They're like the best starters. So surely he can't mess this stuff.
He's
up.
going to mess it up.
He'll
It's
still make
Maverick.
it look shit.
Come on, he's got to press a button, don't you? Those whole shot devices. He can't mess it up.
So who's signing with Aprilia?
That's the question, isn't
It's-
it? You got the last two big ones left is Aprilia and Repsol.
Yeah, but Repsol, who cares? I mean, they'll get two donkeys on there and do nothing like they have now. So it
Legit.
doesn't.
Yeah, well, that's it. With Aprilia,
Daniel, who do you reckon?
Well, I seen it just before. It's going to be so funny.
Can you guys keep refreshing Crash.net? Because
Yeah,
every
I am.
time we
Yeah.
do a pod, something happens like 20 minutes after.
So I had it up on Facebook before. I don't know what page it was, but Bezecchi 80% done to Aprilia.
No way. That means he's going to KTM or
So
something.
he's going to HRC with Marini.
yeah.
Oh my god! That would be amazing for him. I think amazing for Bezecchi.
Look, it makes the most sense. As much as I would have loved to seen Bastianini on it or even Digia, I think it makes more sense with Bez.
And then who then goes to VR?
Morbidelli?
God, yeah, true.
Yeah.
Morbidelli and
Morbidelli
Digia
and Digia, yeah. And then
That's not a bad team.
Furman to
to
Cressini.
with Alex Marquez.
Yeah.
That seems the most likely scenario. We should get our remember we picked the teams for next year. We should
yeah.
we'll go through them on the Patreon episode and see how terrible we went.
Yeah, well, and it depends because it's looking. I hate to say like it's almost a done deal. It's not an almost a done deal that I know of, but Yamaha and Pramac, like
Yeah.
it's still,
Yeah, it's still floating around
It's
there.
still floating around.
But the head of Pramac said no. Like, I just don't get it. Like, how does it change? How does it backflip 180? Money.
Oh, look at Martin. He was a done deal and a backflip.
Yeah,
Well, that was a done deal, and then MM.
everyone thought Maverick Vinales was going to stay at Aprilia as well. Like, geez,
I didn't even think Maverick Vinales was like going. I thought he was contracted.
Nah.
Yeah,
nah.
that was the biggest surprise.
That's still a surprise that he left.
I know.
He's leaving a very good bike. Like, does he just want to do it just so he can be the first one to win on 4 different manufacturers? Like,
But
that's
did he-
literally
Is he really going to bring you a championship? Let's be real. But if
did
you
he-
can have Martin
But they
and
were happy
Bez,
to. Aprilia were happy to sign him.
But did he get
Probably
pissed
offered
off?
him peanuts.
Was he pissed off with Martin coming in?
Yeah,
They
well,
were-
that could have been a thing.
But like,
But like, really, should that annoy you so much?
I don't know. You know, you haven't won a world championship on the bike. You can't.
Pecco's handling Marquez all right. Like, seriously,
Yeah, true.
you know, this
True,
doesn't
true.
make sense. But
Doesn't make sense.
unless he knows something about KTM that we don't. But
Bro, imagine if Jack Miller signs with Aprilia. Like, that would be just.
it's not going to happen, bro.
I know, but imagine.
He's going to sign with Repsol Honda.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. I said that like 3 weeks ago.
But then when. Does Mir go to.
nah, retires.
26?
I
Dude's
reckon
cooked. He's
Mir-
mentally cooked.
Mir's gone to Trackhouse.
You reckon?
Yeah, he's almost. I read a thing today saying he's not really looking to retire.
Okay.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, I reckon it's almost a done deal. He's gone to Trackhouse.
But then where's Raul Fernandez going? Oh, to the factory Aprilia. There you go.
Nah, that ain't gonna happen.
That could happen.
It could happen, but it won't
Yeah,
happen.
that's.
You got a better chance of Taka Nakagami ending up there.
But why wouldn't Mir then go to the factory Aprilia? If he's going to Trackhouse, which is the same bike.
You know what? That's not a terrible. Like, no one's really thought of that. I don't think it's really going to happen, but
Keep refreshing, Gertie.
I think it's more likely he'll go to Trackhouse, get a factory bike, factory Aprilia in
Yeah.
Trackhouse, and then Bez is going to be, you know, the Italian stallion on that one.
But Morbidelli, I swear, he just keeps falling. Rides just keep falling into his
Well,
lap.
he could fall into another factory Ducati VR46 if Yamaha goes. Which, how funny is that? But you know what? I'm like, as much as I love giving him shit, he's actually pulled some good performances the last couple of rounds.
You guys are
he
too
has.
easy. You're too easy on him. Seriously. Top 7s and stuff. I mean, who cares?
But that's what we said at the start of the year. If he can pull them, then
Yeah.
he's done. He's done his job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And think about how competitive MotoGP is right now. There's a stacked field to be top 6.
You don't go at the race to finish top 6.
And remember,
though.
he basically had his legs sewn off at one point.
Yeah, I mean, no testing the bike at the start of the year. It's pretty incredible.
He's doing all
performance.
right. I'm telling you, he's doing all right.
I'll contradict what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But maybe he's just more of a rider where, like, he obviously can't ride around a Yamaha. I think it's hard for anyone to ride around a Yamaha, but he was
Clearly.
like down in the dumps showing it. Probably doesn't help.
Yeah,
Even
exactly.
maybe
Once
you get
you're
a
defeated,
ride.
and that's it.
Yeah, that's it. So anyway, it's just very funny.
Yeah, it's the next couple of weeks are gonna be interesting going into Assen. Obviously, I think a lot of the seats are going to be finalised before then, and then obviously going into the Assen's 2 weeks time. You're right.
So not this weekend, next weekend.
Yep.
Finally, finally, it's going to be good.
And then I mean, it looks likely Jack to Repsol, which would be
Is that just take the money? Like, do you reckon they're going to pay him big money?
I don't think so.
Because
I don't think he has a
they're
choice.
paying Maverick 10 mil
But I
euro.
don't think Jack has a choice anywhere.
Yeah,
He's
I
got
don't
to
know.
take what he can get.
Yeah, he's not. He's not.
I don't think
team-
it's stupid for him. It's not stupid for him at all to take that Repsol
Nah,
Honda seat
100%.
2 year
It's like
contract.
it's a similar Zarco move to Honda as well.
Exactly
Like,
that.
just enjoy it while you can. You might get a result. Who knows? You know, like I don't know if they're going to have a bike that's capable of finishing top 10s in the next 2 years before the regs, but
I don't think so now. No.
No.
Not after what we've seen the start of the year. Like Marini might not even score a point, man.
yeah, I know. Yeah, and that's a new rider, talented rider going onto that bike and absolutely doing nothing. No
Talented
injuries,
rider, yeah.
no injuries, no excuses. Yeah, super scary.
Yeah, I don't know.
Terrible bike.
Yeah, we've spoken about it enough.
Yes.
Anyway, you want me to throw it back to my
Do
throw
it.
it back?
Do it.
So I was last weekend when we did the pod. Last week we did the pod. We got home earlier because we started earlier. And there was nothing on TV, so I put on 4 Mugello, and I forgot how much of a good race this was. So, if you ever want to appreciate how good Valentino Rossi was, watch 2004 Mugello.
Okay.
Because he was it 2004? That was his first year in Yamaha, yeah? Yeah. It was 2004.
20 years ago.
That bike was so underpowered compared to... He was going up against 3 Hondas. Cheeseburger was in there, original OG, Barros. Can you get me the 2004 results up, Mugello, please, Curtis? Because I don't want to butcher this. It was Biaggi. And it was so funny. They were on the start line. I watched it from start to finish. Like, when they were on the grid, when I was doing whatever.
Nick Harris on commentary.
Nick Harris on commentary. And when they were on the start line, like Rossi, obviously they pan to Rossi, whole place goes nuts. And then Biaggi by that stage was like 80% booze from the Italian
Public
crowd.
Enemy number
oh
one.
my God, wasn't he ever? What do we got? What's the top? Give us a top 10, Curdy.
2004 Mugello.
Yeah.
Valentino Rossi, he was first.
Yeah.
Fucking Biaggi was third.
What was second?
You skipped second, bro.
Gibbernow. Oh, fuck, I can't pronounce his fucking
No,
name.
so they given out.
Bayless was fourth.
that's
Ruben
not
was
bad.
fifth.
Who was fifth?
Barros. Ruben.
Can we start this again? Sorry. So
No.
Rossi first,
Rossi
Gibernau
first.
second.
Gibbernow second. Biaggi third.
Yep.
Bayless fourth.
Yep.
Ruben's House
Fifth. Good
Ruben's
pronunciation.
out.
But this is what I mean. They were nowhere, and then they got to fourth and fifth, and I'll tell you why.
Seventh, Noric Ave.
6. Where we go? 6.
Loris Caparossi.
Okay, beautiful.
Ninth. Marco Melandri.
What about 8th and 9th?
Loris is eighth.
Oh, okay, right.
Ninth was Marco.
pass out.
And 10th was Shane Byrne.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're the
Beautiful.
best, Katie.
Fucking butchered it, mate.
No, you're right. First day in the job, all good. So, and Hayden crashed out. He was in the
So
top
why
3
were they up so high, the 5th and 6th guys?
because
Zeus.
5 laps to go, it started pissing down rain.
Oh.
And Rossi was getting destroyed. I mean, destroyed on the straight. But his braking was one Mir-esque at Philippon. He was braking like 10, 20 meters later than everyone else and holding that line. Like, it was incredible.
So did they go into wets or anything or stay on slicks?
No, so a typical Mugello, like it pissed down rain.
Yep.
And then it red flagged, obviously. And then by the time they went back out, they were back on slicks again. But it was on like a wet track. Like,
Damn.
it was greasy almost, but
Yeah.
you were running slicks for the last 5 laps. Rossi, by the time I think he crossed the line, I think he was like 4th or 5th. He started on the restart, and then like he just measured everyone. He just let I think Biaggi just run run first for the first like 2-3 laps as a mule, and then Bayliss carved his way through again because he was like 10th, 11th. And then Rossi, you could just see, was that much better than everyone else. Like, if you just want to watch for like purists, on a bike, you forget how good those Hondas were and how much of how of a bucket of bolts that Yamaha was and how he rode around it. And then it was in the greasy conditions. That race in Mugello, like the fans were going wild. It was crazy. 2004 Mugello is one to watch. And those the brand new Ducatis were on there as well. I think it was their second year in it. Biaggi on the Honda, he was riding his old bike. Cheeseburger Barros was there. Nicky Hayden, I think second year. I think it was his second year. He crashed out. So
man, that's awesome.
It just shows how
Give
good.
me chills.
It just shows how good Valentino was back in those days, and those Hondas were so much better.
Oh man,
they really were.
They were so much more superior.
And it's it's just. Yeah, I don't know. People need to rewatch it, and I'm so overhearing all the. It's fun to talk about Marquez versus Rossi, but you gotta just go back to those
still the goat.
tapes, man. It was very, very good.
Still the GOAT, Danby?
Danby, watch it, because I'm telling you, it was incredible. It was really good. And I just put it on just for whatever.
Just when I was background.
Yeah, when I was sorting all the podcast stuff out, and I forgot it was even red flags, and they had you couldn't change bikes back then, whatever.
No
tires. But it was cool to see Bayliss up there, Some old school riders in there. I'll get the rest of the list out, but no, Curdy will go. So
it's a bloody good list. I'm looking at it. Yeah. Neil Hodgson, Colin Edwards, Kenny Roberts Jr.,
Colin Edwards,
Shinya
he was on the
Nakano,
Honda.
Makoto Tamada.
Melandri was up there at one point as well. He was on the Yamaha, I'm pretty sure.
Carlos Checa.
Beautiful.
There's some big names, man. Jeremy McWilliams.
McWilliams, yeah. So it was a cool race.
Bayliss came from 15th
to
4th, and Ruben Zaus from 14th.
The last 5 laps on that slicks on that damn track was wild around the Jello. It was cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was a good race.
Nice throw it back, Jim.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, it was. I put it down my notes. I'm like, we'll have to throw it back. It was a good one to watch.
Why don't we throw it over to the hot takes?
All right, boys. This is now easily our biggest segment. We get messages all week.
That went
all week.
off.
Well, it was actually interesting.
I've got thousands.
I know, it's crazy.
I had to take time off work to literally go through them and highlight them. So if everyone asks, if you want to put in your hot take, listen carefully. We do it Thursday night, Melbourne time. Mm-hmm. So we'll put up a story. You put your questions into that, and we'll go through them.
Also, what I've done, I've added it to the top. I've pinned it to the top of our Instagram page, so it's in the highlights, hot takes.
Okay.
So you can also click into that as well, and you'll be able to put a hot take in all week.
All right, beautiful. Does that work though?
No, I think that just brings up your old ones.
Oh, does it?
Whatever.
They just got to make sure they're putting it in the right hot take.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. No. Of course. I will delete that and redo it every week.
Oh, yeah.
cool.
Then in that case, yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do that because then
So I will
go
now remove that from the highlight as we are going to read them out now.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, Thursday night Melbourne time we do it and send them through anything you want. It can be literally, and we've got some random ones in here. It can be legitimately anything about any topic in the world.
Yeah, 100%. We'll talk about it.
It's very funny. All right, first one, we've got a few. @_Moto Misfits. Mav was a drama queen and pulled a Jorge on Aprilia when he couldn't be El Capitano.
Yeah, interesting take.
Good call.
Yeah, great call. And that's why I think this is where it's sort of come from, I suppose.
Yeah, because as we said, he should have stayed. Aprilia is a better bike. Factory Aprilia is a better bike, surely.
Then the KDM?
Yeah.
100%.
Even though it's going to be 4 full factory KDM bikes by the looks of it. But.
Still a better bike. Just because you got more of them doesn't mean.
Does KDM have more resources than Aprilia going to the new regulations? Will Vinales last till the new regulations is probably the other question as well.
Probably
question.
not last.
Yeah.
But I think it's no man's land for both of them, really, because they sort of came in relatively at the same time. Aprilia a lot earlier, but...
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if one's got the upper edge. Probably KDM's got more money coming in.
Yeah. I think there's this bigger... Aprilia has always been stingy, I reckon, with they've developed awesome, but I don't think they've been an HRC or a Ducati or a KDM where they've just thrown money at racing.
They're just just take something just extra. Like they're just
Well, this is their
they're
test
so
is,
close.
Their test is next year.
Yeah.
If they've got Martin and like a Bezecchi, no
Yeah.
excuses.
No
Yeah, that's right.
And,
And
they
they
might
gotta
have a
start throwing
Mir,
money.
and they might have a Mir at
But then,
Trackhouse.
but the problem is, then we're going to say, oh, it's their first year on the bike. They're going to get used to the bike. There's always an excuse there.
Well, there can't be because Marquez did it on a Honda, Rossi did it on a Yamaha. Like,
Yeah.
you know, people can do
Yeah,
it.
you can adapt.
Yeah, true.
Look at Acosta.
Yeah, true. 100%. But he's a freak.
He is a freak. At Josh Bailey 187, with Mav to KTM, Bez will take factory Pilia's ride.
Yep, great take. We agree.
Just about there, I reckon, on it, boys.
Pretty
Yep.
much.
Beautiful. 93_Jube.
No. That's Marquez and a funny name. That's awesome. Or is he born in 93?
Oh, who knows? Maybe. Where do you think Miller will end up, HRC or World Superbikes?
Yeah, I think I think there's more
Yeah,
likely going to
yeah.
Honda than Superbikes.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Because where would he fit in at Superbikes?
Oh, they'll fit him in somewhere.
You'd
Yeah,
put him on a
100%.
Ducati or something like that?
Yeah, maybe.
I reckon
maybe
Miller,
Yamaha.
though, I was watching Superbikes. If Miller's in that grid, I reckon he'll do really well.
I don't know. Like those tires are softer than GP tires, and he chews through GP tires. So
Yeah, don't say that. Don't say that.
you know, I don't know. But then again, he came back here and he did all right on a stock bike.
On a very stock
He won,
bike.
didn't he?
Nah, he got
No,
third.
third.
Yeah, Repsol Honda. If he's got that contract in front of him and he's ready, apparently he was ready to sign that KTM one.
And if
I'll
you're,
take
He'll sign whatever comes across his desk.
I think so.
and if you're out, if he leaves MotoGP, he's out forever.
Yeah, you're not
He's
coming
never
back.
He's
coming
not.
back.
Nah, he's not coming back
who
in.
comes back these days?
No one
anyway?
comes back,
No
no.
one really comes back once they
You
leave.
know, he maybe.
Yeah, he
but,
might be the outlier.
But that was a
Dovey
that's-
came back for half a season
yeah,
on that Yamaha. Remember?
Yeah, but
and he never.
they were in dire straits too. They had no one to come on that bike.
Yeah,
I don't think they'll put many money into it either. At Chindagunda Proper, what's happening with Mark's Red Bull sponsorship next year? I have no idea, but I assume he's going on the Monster.
You'd think so.
have we ever seen that before with a team sponsored by an energy drink and then a rider sponsored by a different energy
Yeah,
drink?
Bastianini was with Red Bull,
Yeah, but it can happen.
Yeah.
It can happen.
and Mir was with Monster Energy.
Yeah,
And you were saying this with Toprak, Rocket, and he's Red Bull
Uh,
at Superbikes. Different level though, but
different and the most watched MotoGP rider on the most watched bike as
so
well.
you reckon that he's going to stay with Red Bull on that factory Ducati?
I think he will. Yeah.
I think he will as well.
I think so. There'll be something in it.
Yeah.
But then Martin was. Oh no, he's not factory.
Yeah,
Sorry,
he was Red Bull on the
He's Red Bull
Pramac.
anyway,
Yeah.
so it stays.
So anyway, it's an interesting one. Like those sponsors.
Yeah, and there's a
They-
lot of different sponsors that have similar markets. As well.
Yeah, a lot of
Sunglasses
conflict of
and-
interest.
Yeah.
At Mr. Dominar 85, why do you think Vinales left Aprilia? Is the KTM move worthy?
I actually think it goes back to that other hot take that he didn't get El
True.
Capitan.
Yeah.
True.
So, yeah,
Just fit the dummy.
pretty much.
But I mean, how do you spit the dummy? Like, Aleix Espargaro is retiring. You have to bring a rider in.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you want him to bring a shitty Moto2 rider in and
Yeah.
just be
Yeah.
when you
He
haven't
did-
actually performed?
He did the same thing at Yamaha.
Yeah.
Cracked the shits and blew up the engine.
Vinales,
Yeah.
yeah. He's known for that. He's a fucking hothead.
He is, and like you can talk the talk, but you got to walk the walk. And yeah, he's won a race this year, but he's been so inconsistent.
Didn't he walk out
Standard.
at Moto 3, cracked the shits and like
That rings a bell.
didn't race and
Yeah.
like walked out of the round?
Yeah, you're right.
Like,
That never goes down well. And
No dice.
Yeah, and he's been taken in by open arms by a lot of different teams now.
good old Top Gun.
We'll get a lot of hate for this because we've somehow bagged Vinales. He's the one we get most flack on.
I know.
Yeah,
I
I love him,
know. Oh yeah, I know.
Give him me, but he's still good. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. He
Oh no, he blew us off, but at the back of the paddock. Remember?
Did he?
Well, not that kind, but the other kind.
I was going to say, what did he do?
I wasn't there for that.
Yeah, special treatment, but you know.
I mean, you took his seat.
Yeah, yeah, just Aprilia things.
At Markham McFarlane 1. Rossi was never the fastest on the grid, outright speed, but always found a way of winning.
He was never a qualifier. He was
He was
Yeah,
never a
he
qualifier.
wasn't.
I would actually agree with that.
He's like a Bagnaia though, similar
I think he just had racecraft over everything.
racecraft,
Yeah.
Sunday man, and just aggressive.
It goes back to what I was literally what I was talking
You
just
were
about
just saying.
with the throwback. He was definitely not the fastest that race.
But then when he needed to be, he could put it. What was it? Phillip Island. We had to win by 15 seconds. Like
10
when he needed to
seconds.
be quick, he was.
yeah, against Cheeseburger. So
Barros or Lorenzo?
OG.
OG.
Barros.
Lorenzo would have been like 8 years old, I reckon. Or 4. We
True,
racing
true.
125s because
Yeah.
I remember him in the MotoGP game.
That's my earliest MotoGP memory is that race, that 04 race.
It was pissing down rain all weekend. It
Yeah.
kind of dried up for that last MotoGP race.
And how did he get the penalty?
Passed under a yellow flag
Yeah, that's
when
right.
Bayless crashed.
Yeah.
That was disappointing as well when Bayless crashed at Honda. There you go. There's a bit of MotoGP history for everyone. So, yes, to answer the question, I think he was definitely... He just had the racecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Sunday
kinda-
man.
He was a Sunday man. He was the original Sunday man. I think this guy's a bit angry at us. At Jalamso, Aprilia have a top rider now. Enough.
Yeah. And we've got enough hot takes, so thanks, bro.
But this is what we just said. They've got no excuses now.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, do we really think Vinales is going to do anything on that KTM?
Nah.
We don't, do we?
Nah, not at all.
Vinales?
Yeah.
Nah, but I reckon Bastianini could.
Yeah,
you're
I'm
a
with
big
you on
rap.
that.
You're a big rap for him.
I love him.
You know what? It's going to be interesting to see the second half of this season how Bastianini and Vinales go. That's going to be the interesting part.
Vinales will be up and down. He might get one more podium. Tease everyone. Won't tease me, but
You don't fall for it.
I will never fall for it.
No, you didn't.
Never again.
This year, did you? Fraud Watch 101. He's
fraud king.
Bro, he's the original Fraud Watch, isn't he?
Yeah, he's like Miguel, who will only stay in his lane, which is fraud.
You called Miguel bottom 5. You're probably not far off, are you?
I know.
If the Hondas weren't so bad,
He would be bottom 5.
he would be bottom 5.
Oh, I remember. Nah, what are you talking
I
about?
know.
You and I?
I always got bashed in the bloody pits at MotoGP because that guy approached me.
That's almost crystal ball level, that is.
Yeah. Just, well, when you got your stepsister at home every day, like, let's be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
You're going to be distracted.
Does the novelty wear off? Probably not.
Nah, no way. No way.
That was a quick probably not. I don't think it does, man. You're living everyone's dream, bro. At Special Ed, pod favourite.
Yes.
Also, can you read out the top 3 funniest usernames without any of you lads laughing? No, we can't. No,
Do we have a
can't.
top 3 funniest names?
True.
Bro, Dingleberry hand job is going to be the number 1 for me. He got angry at us, but he got angry at James.
Why?
I don't know. You begged something.
I said the riders would be happy that the Indian Grand Prix is cancelled because they won't get food poisoning,
Yeah.
which is kind of true. Half Paddy got food poisoning
It's
last
not.
round.
It's not. Yeah, it's fact. But anyway, he doesn't respond to us anymore. Unfortunately.
I spit facts, brah. At Matt Ould _ also hot take: Honda will win another title before KTM or Aprilia. Hot take.
That's a massive call.
Well, you know what? He might not be wrong if they don't win in the next couple of years, and then the new regs happen.
Yeah.
So I actually like it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a good take.
Honda have the ability and the resources to win another world championship.
In 2027,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
They might not have the riders though. They might have a Miguel Oliveira that will just
How did they
dribble
get-
in 15th.
How did they get Marini though?
Well, they promised him the world.
Yeah, but like you can't just switch on a bike from year to year. You have years and years of
It
development.
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
work
right.
like that anymore.
No, you have to like you go from top 15 to top 10s to top 5s to winning.
Yeah.
It's not like top 15s to winning.
Aprilia is basically the prototype of that. Look at them. It's been so
Yeah.
long, but they've literally gone
Yeah.
top 15 to top 10 to top 5
Yeah.
to winning.
But it's taken 10 years.
Yeah. But the new regs is going to speed everything up.
Suzuki is the same. They went there to there, won a championship, and then left. I mean, like,
Such a Suzuki thing to do, seriously.
crazy.
But I think that's a good take. And, like, is really anyone going to stop Ducati in the next 2 years? Pecco or Marquez on that bike?
Probably not.
Probably not.
No. No, I don't. No.
So, you know, that's actually not a bad take. I like his forward thinking. Another one from Matt Ould.
The other thing is, there's going to be less Ducatis taking points off Marquez and Bagnaia because you're going to have Diggio, who's talent, definitely, and you're going to have possibly Morbidelli on that other factory team.
Could be, yeah, on the both
You got
VR 46
Aldeguer and
points.
Alex Marquez. They're your 4 other Ducati riders. They're not as strong as a Marquez on a Grassini or a
Bez.
a Bez
Yeah.
or a Pramac with Martin, like who's taking a lot of points, especially Saturday points off Bagnaia.
True. It's a good point. It's a great point you make. Another different one from Matt Ould. Which rider would you be scared to punch on with? Who would you fold like a camp chair?
That's a great question.
I know definitely the one I wouldn't want to fight, and he's Michael Ruben Rinaldi, who does basically MMA and has cauliflower ears.
Bro stole my answer.
Will destroy you. Fold like a camp chair is the easiest answer in the world. It's Nakagami, bro.
Oh, but they will
he
fold like a
might.
camp chair.
He might know Kung Fu, but
Yeah, you might play some nunchucks.
Odds
or
on
something.
favourite he would.
actually maybe me, because he's just so mentally beaten up. I reckon you can just push him over and he might just fold.
I think the intensity of Zarco scares me a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I don't know. He'll have some secret weapon in the dark alley somewhere, I reckon.
I reckon Brad or Darren Binder.
Jack
Yeah.
Miller.
South Africans.
I reckon Jack Miller would be a bit of a mongrel.
They'll punch
Yeah.
on and fold like a cam chair. Jake Dixon.
He's all talk, you reckon?
Yeah, 100%. I reckon you just like had a shirt in front of him and you're like, oh, sorry, sir.
Jake Dixon's the kind of guy who, like, if he's around his mates, would be a smart ass, but one on one, he'd be really nice to you. That's
Yeah.
he's
Nah,
Yeah.
he'll be
Yeah.
the type of guy when he's like just about to go on the party. I'm going to talk to all these bitches,
Yeah,
mate,
yeah.
like, and then he'll walk into be in the corner on the weather app.
right you are.
That's his own joke. This is a different take on the Maverick Vinales. At JVSNR5, Vinales to Tech 3 is a good decision.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, it's good for KTM. I think he'll bring a different riding style as well than what they've had. So,
Maybe a smoother riding, maybe a
Yeah,
smoother
100%.
riding
It's actually a
style.
much different riding
Yeah.
style.
Yeah, so probably the other guys for sure.
I think Bastianini's a big get because he's out of love with Ducati and he'll morph himself into the team as well. So, because it's going to be such a big team environment there.
Well, they try and push that family
They
environment
do,
as well.
yeah. And to be part of that's going to be pretty cool. And they got two Spanish and Italian and a South African. So, bit of everywhere from walks of life.
Yeah, I like it. One thing with KTM though is I don't like their merchandise. It sucks.
Too orangey.
Just all looks the same. It's like
It
Red
never
Bull.
changes.
It's like Red Bull. All looks the same.
I used to love the Tech
Yeah.
3. Remember the blue and the orange?
Yeah,
when they
back
were
in the day.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they had really good merch. But they might have that blue again this year. And
I'd
next
love
year.
to know what that second bike's going to look like.
I hope it's just not bright orange and black.
I liked that. I think it
I
looked good.
didn't mind that at all.
not a fan.
Under lights looked good.
Yeah, didn't it ever?
Yeah, it did look good under lights.
They probably just need a big sponsor on there. Surely someone's going to sponsor that team though.
Repsol.
Like, you know what?
Oh,
You
that's
know,
not a bad shout at all.
you know what's
Tom.
not a bad shout? Repsol to Ducati. I've poo-pooed this, but I'm actually more thinking about it.
But Spanish and Italian. Oh, I suppose, yeah.
I think money talks, man.
Doesn't matter, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly
Spanish
right.
and Japanese. Like, you would never think that would be a partnership going for so
Yeah.
long either.
Like, how much is Lenovo throwing at Ducati? Seriously, bring back Marlboro.
Makes me want to have a dart.
Yeah, good
But no one
comments.
smokes anymore. Just bring it back anyway. Like, you know,
Yeah,
who
that's right.
cares? Kids are on the vapes now anyway.
Yeah, they don't care about
Analogs.
analog vape. At Mark Luffy, MotoGP is getting more and more boring with every year. 2025-26 will be worse.
What?
That's terrible.
Shit take.
Bro,
Yeah,
it's
it's a
not,
terrible
it's,
Look,
amazing.
down the barrel, Tom. Get him shaved.
Get him shaved.
Get him
I
shaved.
don't understand. Like, yeah, I mean, there was years and years and years of just like you knew as soon as Lorenzo got in the lead, he would win.
Or Marquez.
Marquez, even the good races back then, 5 years ago,
Yeah.
he would just shadow him, and then pass him. Nowadays, you got so many different riders who can win. I mean, obviously, I know Ducati. It's a Ducati Cup, but
Different
like,
teams now next year.
No, that's a shit take, and you've been shaved.
At Mark Luffy, you've been shaved.
That's
I like it.
No, it's yes, it has its every odd, boring race, but like, still so much more exciting than other sports, including Formula One.
It's very Mark Vinales.
How does he say that next year's going to be boring? I mean, you got Marquez on a factory cat, you got Martin on a Aprilia. I mean, that's a
Hey, Pedro Acosta, second
Pedro
year.
Acosta.
Factory
Jeez. What are
KTM.
you talking about? It's ridiculous.
Come on.
God.
What about Marini on the Repsol, bro? Even him out.
Yeah, but he's losing by 40 seconds is a good laugh for us on Monday night, so it's fine. He can do that.
That poor guy.
Kashigami and Alex Binns.
Imperial Honda. At Alice Terrial. Top Gun will make history again by getting a win on 4 manufacturers. Is he
Yeah,
going to win on KTM?
I can see that happening.
Yeah, he'll win. Yeah, he'll have. He has every odd weekend. He goes amazing. So
Yeah. I don't think he's going to do it. Don't think he's going to do it. I think it's
okay.
be too competitive.
okay.
I reckon he's done his dash.
Well, he's got.
Oh, look, I'm surprised he did it first. I really had my money on Alex Rins, but
And it probably is a better bike.
The other thing is he's got to beat. Pod favorite. God, I've got blank. Acosta on the same bike. So
Yeah.
if the KTM's going really great that weekend, he's got to beat Acosta on that same bike.
yeah.
Which I mean,
And you're still going to beat, the Ducatis, the Aprilias. I don't see it happening.
what's Martin going to do on the Aprilia next year?
For me, man, that's probably the one I really don't know. I think he's going to be quick.
If he comes out and wins the championship, that's like God, like write a movie about that shit.
Yeah, that will be huge.
Huge.
And it would be really good for the sport if that does happen.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that could happen in 25 that would be great for the sport.
Imagine that, like, they're going to span, like, Martin wins a race, span to Tardozzi. He'd be like this, like, that's the crazy thing that's going to happen. Like, they've chosen Marquez over this guy. They've gone that route and they had the opportunity. So, who knows?
it might come back to. I think it's going to come back to bite Ducati in the ass.
Yeah.
Losing both Martin and Bastianini,
Yeah.
not just one of them.
Because if they establish a good partnership with their teams, they're not going to come back. That's the other thing.
Of course. And, the Italians have gambled on 2 ex-world champions, haven't they? Hamilton and Marquez.
Yeah.
Yep.
They've gone down a very similar route with each other.
Yeah.
And they've
100%.
gambled on Furman coming in.
Yeah, that's the worst gamble out of all of them, I reckon.
So far, it is.
So far, yeah.
We didn't do our most disappointing. Well, we did it last week. He's been our most disappointing so far this year.
He's already in fraud watching. He's in MotoGP yet.
Yeah, I think it's too early. I mean, anyway, you can go on this forever, but it's too early to sign a kid like that after having 6 good races of the year. Like, anyway.
Don't you love this pod when they ask a question about if Vinales is going to win on his 4th race, and by the time we finish answering it, we're talking about Furman Howard again? Getting signed too early?
That's why the hot takes are so good.
Oh, that's funny. At the flamboyant Chippy.
That's a good name.
That is a good name. I like that name. Is Mark still considered to be in his prime? If Pecco beats him next year, I don't want to hear people complain.
Yep.
That's
I
a
think
good take.
Take. I don't think Mark's in his prime anymore, though.
I think you're right. I think
I
after
think
the
he's
injury,
just past it.
done.
Yeah.
And he's been in the sport now for 11 years, 12 years from next year. It's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a long
A
time.
lot
is
of
a long
young,
time,
lot of
yeah.
young talents coming through. Look, if Mark does it next year, hey, we won hell of a championship, and definitely kudos.
Going back to that terrible hot take about boring MotoGP next year, which I don't get. Like, that's the biggest. Those 2 riders, Martin and Marquez, for me, watching them next year,
Yeah.
regardless if they go well or not, that's the exciting part for me.
The exciting part is not knowing.
Yes.
That's the exciting part about racing. We spoke about this at the start of the pod.
And I think that's going to be a real, is Qatar the first race next year?
Yeah, I
Should
believe
be.
so.
Like, they roll those bikes out, practice one, all eyes are going to be on that track.
Yeah.
They're going to be out at
Testing.
Testing, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't show the full capability though until that first
Yeah.
race. But then Qatar also throws up a little wild result as well.
Yeah.
So with Grassini winning there, with Bastianini back in the day a few years ago, that was pretty crazy.
And Digia.
And
And
Digia.
Digia, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, it'll be interesting. I love it. We've done enough Aprilia.
God, how many hot takes about Maverick Vinales?
There's
That's
been
unbelievable.
There's been so many.
He's still widely loved in the community, isn't he? Maybe we're the outlier, but
At Nicky D3604, if Digia stays at VR46, will Rossi let him join the academy?
I don't know how it works, to be honest.
Isn't that weird that he's not in it? He's Italian rider racing for VR46, not in the academy.
But what does it mean to be in the academy, though?
I don't know. You get to go to
Just
his
training,
dinners and
but he-
training.
But he would
But
go
he
there anyway.
goes
wouldn't
there
he?
anyway.
Yeah.
Does
And
he?
Rossi was in his pit giving him pointers in that last round. So
Yeah, I don't know if you don't sign a contract to be in the academy or anything. He's a grown man. It's just like, why do you have to be in the academy? I don't get that.
Yeah,
And to be honest, I don't. From what I have been seeing, the academy's not booming.
Well, we had that
We had this
conversation about
discussion.
Italians
There's
coming through.
not a lot of people coming through it. So, yeah.
But
I don't know.
Bastianini turned it down
Years ago.
years ago.
Yeah.
That worked in his favour in the end, didn't it?
Who
Going
knows?
a different route. Daniel, the young kids in Italy, are they racing cars? Are they riding bikes? What are they doing? Are they
Look,
swimming? Are they
there's-
pole vaulting?
They're still around, obviously. There are some across Supersport and the 300 and 600. There's some in the, Red Bull Rookies Cup and all that kind of jazz. But, yeah, it just seems to have changed back to the Spanish domination again. They're pushing a lot more out, which for the last probably 6-7 years, there wasn't as many.
Yeah.
Like great, talented Spanish riders coming through. Now we've seen a whole bunch of them. So, I don't know whether they're playing other sports or there are still definitely some, but nowhere near as much as that influx of
Interesting.
Marini, Bastianini, Bez, Vietti, Mino, all these kind of guys, Arbolino, all that. So,
Yeah, it's definitely Spanish dominated.
yeah.
And it just always has been. It's just that Italy had obviously Agostini back in the day, who was incredible, obviously in his own right, and then Rossi and
Yeah, that's
Simoncelli.
right.
But like Italy's kind of had the riders, like those one-off riders that dominated, where Spain's always just had half the
Consistency.
field.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said before, a lot of them seem to be jumping down that superbike paddock. So,
But if you look at like results between 2010 and 2020, there's a lot of Spanish riders in the Premier class. Like there's a lot of cases where it was Pedrosa,
Dominated.
Pedrosa, Marquez,
Barbara, Lorenzo.
yeah. Like there was a lot of races. I remember
Bautista.
like 3 Spanish flags. You know,
It was almost
Yeah.
every, it was
Always.
almost every
yeah.
weekend.
So it's been around like this for the last 15 years. So
Yeah.
I think Bagnaia winning the championship and being the world champion is the outlier, I suppose, going through all the classes. So.
A little bit, yeah.
But-
You know,
but-
it is a bit more of Italian eccentric now, as in with the academy with your Bezes, who's not obviously
Yeah.
doing anything, but last
Yeah.
year and this year.
You just need someone to take that extra, like we're looking for that next Rossi, I suppose, that eccentric person where it's not Bagnaia. We know that. But
No,
like
no.
Bez, I mean, if Bez goes to Aprilia, wins a few races, gets the Italian people on board, like he
I
could
think
be the
the
next
Italians
superstar.
are really on board with Pecco though. Like you look at Magello
yeah, they seem to be.
on a
They seem to
Ducati,
love him.
you know.
Well, I mean, it's a recipe. I mean, it's a Ducati, it's an
Yeah,
Italian
that's
bike.
right.
It's like,
Italian bike,
how
Italian
can you
rider.
not love? How can you not
That's
love
right.
him?
if
If you're
he's,
Italian?
if they don't go crazy over that, they're not going to go crazy over much, you know.
Yeah, well,
Exactly
that's
right. But in terms of personality, I think Acosta's the man.
Yeah,
Like
seems
just
like it.
moving purely to that
Yeah.
out there and
Well, he had a lot of fans in Magello. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of
The
Italians going
sharks.
for
Do you see
Acosta.
the blown up sharks?
Yeah, there was a lot of fans.
he's
there.
very funny watching some of the videos they do with him and
Do you see him
like
on the
the teammates.
scooter?
No, which one was that?
He hijacked the cameraman's scooter and then he couldn't get up the hill. He had to push
Oh,
the
yeah.
cameraman up the
Yeah,
hill
that
on
was
the
awesome.
scooter.
Yeah.
they just did one of him and Augusto Fernandez, like guessing about your teammate,
Oh yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, what would Pedro be if he wasn't a MotoGP rider?" And he goes, "Fuck, broke." Like just silly. Like he's super funny and like real witty. He's really on
really
it.
witty,
He's
yeah.
really good.
But if he comes next year on the KTM and knocks bags off, kicks him off or something, and like, are they telling people going to hate him or they're not?
probably,
Yeah, of course.
God, it's going to be interesting.
But that's fair enough as well. You know, like, yeah, it will be interesting. But he does have the personality. Those guys that seem to have the personality, though, where they're really witty, they're very smart. Like, you'd kind of think of Valentino.
they're very
maybe not-
calculated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
back in the day, you might not have thought that of Valentino, but he obviously was. And everyone says how calculated it was. It always used his media to his advantage. Marquez did the same thing. It's probably how he got that Ducati ride. So it's interesting. At Troy.Baines, the man that got Ducati in this domination phase is not Bagnaia, it's Andrea Dovizioso. Good take. I
Yeah,
like
it's a
the
great
hot
take. Yeah. I mean, you argue that he was a star rider for many years there.
Took it out to Marquez for a lot of time.
And was the only rider to take up to Marquez.
developed
for a while
that bike.
there. Yeah.
I like it. Daniel?
Yeah, not a bad shout. Not a bad shout at all.
Hard to say though. Who knows?
Yeah.
Iannone obviously had a lot of development on that bike as well. He won the first race for Ducati
Yeah,
in
for a long
Austria,
time.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Piro, he's got a lot to thank for as well.
For sure. Very
He's
good
a
test
big,
rider.
big part of it.
Very true. Great point, actually. Very good point.
I do like that with the factory team is how they always include Pirro and like any kind of a success.
Yeah.
Pirro's always there, isn't he, when they win
Yeah.
a title?
And he's racing in Aston, isn't he? I believe.
He raced on the weekends.
Yeah, he raced supers on the weekend. Didn't do too good, but
No, he was nowhere, wasn't he?
yeah.
At McQueen Boy, this one's for Daniel. If Primac goes to Yamaha, Jake Dixon will get a seat next year. TNT pushing for a British rider.
Keep pushing.
Once you're offside of Daniel, that's it. You're never coming back.
Nah, it's it.
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
He doesn't deserve a MotoGP
Nah, he
seat.
doesn't. Not ahead of some of the other
There's
guys.
so many more better riders, i.e. our boy Sergio Garcia.
Yeah, 100%.
I get the wanting a British, wanting an American in there 100%, but
But what's TNT got to do with anything? They've got the broadcasting
They're
rights.
just the broadcasting
Yeah, but
rights. They're not going to make any
they're the
decisions.
British. They're not going to make any. They're not going to have
Maybe
any
there's-
pull for Dorna.
Maybe
Yeah.
they're just trying to...
American rider, yes, that's going to have some pull.
that's gonna
That'll have
that
pull.
will.
Because if they want to start going and they're getting more fans in America, which Liberty Meter, that's exactly what they did for Formula One. That's where they'll need to get a yank.
Doesn't look like it's going to be... What's
Joe
his name
Roberts.
now? Joe Roberts to Aprilia.
No.
That's that's a lot of pressure too. Come to think about it, American company taking over, trying to push the sport, and now you're going to be the poster boy, potentially. Say, for example, in America, that's a lot to take on as a rookie in MotoGP if it were to happen.
I would love to see a big American rider come through and win titles like a Hayden, but like I love Joe Roberts and hey, he might prove me wrong, but like those Americans going up against they're not really. So I'm sorry to the American listeners. I know we got some, but we got plenty really. But like, who's it going to be? Like the Aussies have kind of been up there. Like we've had our dominant champions even recently to a degree, and the Americans were definitely there in like the late 80s, 90s.
Oh, man.
Don't get me wrong, but like the population they have, like I'd love to know why they're not even in Formula One, like car racing. Like because there's just too much to do. There's so much in the United States. Like you got NASCAR, you got IndyCar. You've got
And they're
all
so
these other
proud too.
sports. Like
Yeah, you take the path of the least resistance. So if you become a racing driver, you go towards the American category, stock car,
Yeah,
IndyCar,
yeah.
where you don't venture outside much, I suppose. Why would you spend all that money to go to Europe to be an F1 driver? We can earn just as good money racing at the local series.
Yeah.
Ben Spees said that in Gypsy Sales podcast. When I listened to that, it was really interesting. He was making more money racing AMA
Yeah.
than actually going to MotoGP. And the only reason he went to GP is because the GFC hit. All that money dried up, and then he went over to race with Yamaha, whatever it
There you
was, when
go.
he went over.
Yeah,
So
actually, yeah, that's interesting. Really
it
interesting.
was a really interesting listen.
You got to remember those top 5 most paid sports in the world. 4 of them are NFL, NBA, NHL. Like it's all American sports.
Yeah, it's big money.
So like it must be interesting. I'd like to know, but like, and I'd love to see more Americans out there, but it's a hard slog
It's
to
like
get over there.
It's like a basketball player going, I really want to play in Europe basketball, like when they can play the NBA.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
when they can play like the NASCAR. We don't see it as a big sport here, but they get millions of views.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like in America, 15 million people watch the NASCAR weekend, 1 million people watch the F1. You know, like it's so totally different over there. To break into that market is so hard.
United States is its own world.
It's 300 million
Yeah, that's
people.
right.
It's its own world. Like they're
Yeah.
almost boxed in from everyone else.
With Australia, you have to travel overseas because you're not going to get. I mean,
You're not going to live on a wage in
a thousand
ASPK.
spectators at ASPK is not going to cut it.
So you're not going to really get paid in ASPK anyway.
No,
And the AMA Superbikes is really Moto America, whatever they call it these days, is kicking off again.
yeah. I've seen a
Oh,
lot
I
of
was
them.
on this weekend actually, by the way.
Yeah, Herfos did well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did right. He raced supers this weekend too.
Nice.
So he had, I think, 2 top 10 finishes, podium in
Shit,
race
that's all right.
1
Yeah, right.
of the baggers,
Baggers.
and then P6, I think.
He had a
race
big
2.
off on the bag as I saw on his Instagram.
Oh, did he?
Massive off. Oh my god, the bike flew through the air.
I didn't see that.
Oh, and it actually, you know what? The thing stopped and like they just picked it up and rode it off like it was fine. It was like it must be built like a tank. That thing,
Yeah, he reckons
Probably.
bro.
robust as.
Yeah, those like tanks on those little things on the side of storage areas.
Panniers.
Yeah, they're like full like aluminium, man. There's no carbon fiber.
That's awesome. Shout out the pod favourite. I don't know what this one is, but I highlighted it because it's a bit strange that he said this. At Rick.far, Primac to Aprilia, question mark, and Acosta to be champ by 2027. I think he's just throwing shit at the wall there because that ain't going to happen.
He's doing a T-show. Well, I don't think Aprilia can have an extra team anyway going forward, but who
Nah,
knows?
let's concentrate on Acosta champ by 2027.
Yeah, that's definitely
It's not a bad shout at all.
But you got to remember by 2027. So is that KTM new regulations in 27. Can they realistically beat a Ducati in the next 2 years to a championship?
I think Acosta's talent can.
Yeah.
I think
That's what'll
what's
get him
good.
over the line.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say.
Well, what he's doing with that bike so far this year is incredible.
Well, what's incredible is he's just dominating Jack and Brad, who's been on that bike. Brad for the past 5 years, whatever it is, and
They're-
Jack for the past 2.
They're race winners,
Race winners, yeah. On factory
and he's
bikes.
making them look a bit silly. Very silly.
Yeah, well, it's true. Last one at Sam_Coggins, David Goggins' cousin. If Pramac sign off Yamaha, what riders do you think they will sign? We tried talking about this last week and we couldn't really figure out an answer.
No.
I think Iannone.
I was just about to say, I like
Yeah.
your take on it.
Yeah.
Iannone,
With who's the Pramac boss again? What's his name?
Paolo Campanotti.
Yeah, that's it. Paolo
Paolo.
Campanotti. Yeah, I think he's in with Iannone. I think they're good mates. And the other one, I couldn't tell you who's going to run that.
Maybe a young kid coming up.
Not a Jake Dixon, mate, surely.
Nah, not him.
I don't know. It's really interesting.
Maybe someone like maybe a Gonzalez or maybe a Sergio Garcia. Like that's how they get their shot. It's their foot in the door.
Do you think Garcia's going to be dumb enough?
Has he got any affiliation with Yamaha though, or like is there?
I
any,
don't think anyone
like
does.
Manuel Gonzalez Grassini was
He's got
most likely because he's Grassini
Exactly.
backed in Moto 2.
But what I'm saying is, if there's no spot for him there,
Wouldn't Alex Marquez go to Pramac Yamaha? Like
nah.
Raul Fernandez?
Yeah, maybe because maybe the Moto 2
Yeah,
guys.
Raul Fernandez is a good shout.
You can't just go kick to the curb and just not ride. Like he's got so much talent. I mean, I know hasn't performed
Yeah, but
amazingly.
look at Remy Gardner had so much talent too, and they kicked him to the curb.
Yeah, it's Australian, but
What about a Jack Miller?
going back to Pramac.
Pramac Yamaha.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
Could be the only option if he doesn't sign off Repsol. If Repsol don't offer him a contract, which I reckon they will.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's more likely he'll go to Honda. But yeah, you might find. Yeah, you might be right. Some of the young kids might go, nah, stuff that, not getting on the Yamaha. It's just as bad as Honda. I'll stay here. And yeah,
it's like
someone gets a lifeline.
Aragua with the Honda, like he just doesn't want that seat.
He's got to take that next year, surely.
Yeah, Takayama Kagami to Pramac.
Honestly, it could happen though.
Yeah.
That's
Brings
the
the sponsorship
crazy
with
thing.
him.
Yeah.
Brings the Imperial Japanese sponsorship with him.
Same colours as well.
Oh,
Oh goodness. That's it. Hot takes.
Yeah, that's it, boys.
Beautiful.
What's
Sweet
on this
as.
weekend? Barcelona.
Barcelona F1, and that's it.
Mickey Mouse.
That's it?
Yep.
Yep. All right.
Beautiful.
Sweet, I gotta go.
Over and out from the track.
See you, boys.